Welcome to the stream, my friends. I hope you're all doing well. And today, guys, we have a bit of a different stream. Just kind of a spontaneous one here, but nonetheless, what it's going to be is 5 best of 3s. There's not necessarily going to be a tournament format, so there's no prize, there's no first place game. It's going to be 5 sets of players just playing best of 3s, getting practice for tournaments, and yeah, it's a good opportunity for some newer players to get in, play against some seasoned tournament vets, and just try out some weird builds. So, welcome to the stream, guys. The first game of the day is going to be Charybdis facing off against Dov Plays. And I'll go ahead and give you guys a rundown of all of the players who are playing today. Let's go ahead and go up here. So it's going to be Dov Plays versus Charybdis, Anticity versus Aneurysm Sauce, Undertaker versus Gok, Random Nix versus Felcon, and then Zyphos versus Rame. So we do have a battle of the clanmates to try and close out today's stream. So it looks like our first match is about ready. Charybdis against Dov. Charybdis is going to be on the Empire, and Dov Plays is going to be facing off against his own people. It looks like he is going to be using the lizard, so quite excited to see what he does here. And yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Good to see some familiar faces, new faces alike, and let's do it to it. Oh yes, the boys just want to wah. It's very true, Hamza Hamza. Very, very true. But yeah, it's just going to be best of 3s. No, it is not Black Ops 3. You are correct. It is not that game. Yeah, so just going to be some practice games. I might, depending on the circumstances, I might play a best of 3 at the end. We'll see how my hand feels. But nonetheless, I've been working pretty hard on Warhammer 40,000 Terrain. So as a matter of fact, my stepdad is kind of in an industry that's very capable of manufacturing like terrain pieces for 40K. So we've been kind of working on it and really kind of coming up with a terrain set for our games and our filming. And yeah, it's great. So we're probably going to shoot our first 40K battle report next week. I'm thinking probably on like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure. It depends on when I can get my opponent. But what that means is probably like the following weekend, there'll be a 40K battle report up on the channel, which will be very, very fun. So that's coming in the near future. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. The first battle I think is going to be, I'll probably be facing off against Tau. It's going to be my my Chaos Space Marines with a very heavy focus on the Emperor's Children facing off against the Tau. So Emperor Children and Thousand Sons. Oh yeah, it's going to be good, guys. Welcome to the stream. 133 people. We're going in hard on this midday stream. And looks like they're just about ready. Start anytime. First map is going to be Golden Monolith, which is a decent one. You don't see it too often. It's relatively small, but it does have a cool, big, cool kind of terrain centerpiece there. And it looks like Dov is ready, as is Charybdis, in our first showcase match of the day. We'll see how these two savvy tournament veterans do. And we are on the beta build now. So currently there is a beta that has fixed a couple glaring issues in the multiplayer scene. So essentially what was happening is that if there was a unit that was affected by a buff and then it got a chevron while it was affected by the buff, it would like nuke its combat stats for like the rest of the battle or a duration of time. I can't quite remember. But so basically there is a beta that fixes that. So we are playing on the beta today. All right, guys. Looks like the Golden Monolith in the center is ready to go. Players are still loading in. Charybdis versus Dov Plays, Empire versus Lizards. It's a good matchup. Empire has some pretty good powder options against the dinos. Their cav are quite effective here as well. And yeah, I think it's a good one. I think we could see some Volkmar the Grim. I think some powerful mustaches in order here. Very good at dealing with Saurus and mass ranks of infantry. Although up in the sky, Karl Franz is always a beast as well. And it looks like it is going to be your boy Franz for Charybdis. And Franz is just, he carries games. He does work. And looking at his stats, you might be like, how does he really do that? But the charge bonus, AP, his items are super good as well. So he can really get in there and nuke things for sure. So both players obviously know that the high ground is pretty important here. And you can see Charybdis does have great swords, spearmen, and the Sigmar Sons with some halberds in the back, followed up by a Jade Wizard as well with the healing. And anytime you go with Franz, it's pretty much a must to bring healing. So on top of that, we do have a Missile Corps as well. So 2 groups of Outriders, which are a great option here. Outriders, very, very solid at putting perpetual AP damage into the big dinos. So 2 of those guys, 2 Demogryph Knights, 1 with Halberds and 1 with Lances actually. So very eager to see these guys in action. Of course, they don't have the bonus first large, but they're a little bit better against infantry. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And of course, the Royal Altdorf Graphites are kind of a must pick. The fact that they do cause terror is just so damn powerful. So if we look over here for the Lizards and the great Dov Plays, he does have Chameleon Skinks in the front line. 2 units, or individual models of Skink Chiefs on foot. Oh, this is cool. Because like if Franz tries to goon them, they'll probably just get knocked over. And they also give you like annoying poke against like a Franz type character. This is actually a really cool pick by Dov. I like this quite a bit. He's got some schemes, to say the least. For the rest of the army here, it's going to be Skink cohorts in the front line. It looks like it is also going to be the cohort of Sotek. spears, 2 groups of stegodons, or 2 units. God damn it, they're not groups, it's just single entities. But look at this. The stegodons are actually rocking gold chevrons. So gold chevrons here and gold chevrons on the other stegodon, probably to help with their missile accuracy, I would imagine. The Legion of Chaqua in the back, and then also we do have a Salon Mage Priest of High Magic, who does have the Tempest to lock down Franz. So a lot of punishment. I mean, if Karl Franz gets out of position for even a second, and the Skink Chief shoot him, the stegodons shoot him, he's afflicted by Tempest and the Chameleons, he can go down super quick. On top of that, we do, of course, have Apotheosis and Hand of Glory. Hand of Glory feels like it should be like an 80s song. Anyways, Dov's Chameleons are going to be pushing in. Doing a little bit of poke and stroke here in the front line, but yeah, some of the heavy cav could push forward and try and screen them. Oh, Hadrius does also have Gotrek. Okay, it's pretty metal, and it looks like Dov might go in for a little bit of a poke on Gotrek. Gotrek going to be taking some darts to the face. Very, very lore friendly for sure. Gotrek just charging into Doom and surviving it somehow. So a million skink darts are going to be poking at Gotrek, or it looks like maybe he's actually targeting the greatswords, and you know, it paid its dues. It took out, wow. A lot of greatswords are actually going down, but that's not just from the skinks. It's also from the stegodons in the back, which are shooting those guys. But I would imagine the stegodons very quickly will start shooting at the Royal Outdorf Griffites. And yeah, you can see the Griffites here starting to take a little bit of fire, and that is actually from the stegodons, which the ballistas hit really hard, and it actually takes out models very quickly, which basically means that they can't resurrect. Obviously, they don't have access to Invocation, and they can't be targeted by Invocation. So those Griffites here taking a heavy beating. So really good initial play here from Dov so far. Doing very, very well in the skirmishing phase. But the frontline fight is about to be here. Sigmar Sons and Greatswords will be quite strong. And I would imagine the Outriders will probably just go up here on the high ground and shoot downtown. Nice, Tempest going down as well. And it looks like the Stegodons and the Skinks going to be starting to shoot at Franz. You can see there was an attack order given by Dov Plays to start shooting at Karl Franz. And really, really nice skirmishing phase here from the Lizards so far. They've gotten a ton of poke in. And the Griffites are really beat up. Regrowth going down, of course, is going to help them kind of reach their maximum HP, but it's not going to resurrect any models. Nice little Tempest there. Franz is now down to about 75-80%, which is really nice for this early in the game. On this flank, we do have Denver Griff Knights with Lances coming in, and they should be pretty effective against Skinks, to say the least. A little bit of overkill. And here they come. Nice charge right there, coming in from Hadrius on the flank, pounding into those Skinks, but he's got to be careful. Cohort of Sotek will actually be very effective against them, and you know, they have AP, they're unbreakable, they can refuse to die. A lot of scary factors. Up here in the sky, you can see Karl Franz flying overhead, getting javelined once again by the Stegodon. So Stegodon's getting some really nice poke there. Karl Franz coming in for the kill. Looks like he's going to be trying to get that Stegodon down, but he's kind of in the danger zone, to be honest. Like, if he gets like caught with another Tempest, for example, and then just rammed by these Stegodons, I think Franz might actually just go down to that. I mean, he gets a little bit of poke, but yeah, you can see Dov reacts very quickly. Pulls the Stegodon. It looks like an Earthblood going down. Stand your ground as well, but I would imagine Tempest is probably coming off cooldown now. So he is going to be able to get that sweet, sweet Tempest. Denver Griff Knights are still kind of trying to troll in the back line. There are some Spearmen back here, and the frontline fight is going well for the Sons of Sigmar. The Skinks are being pushed back, but still, you're going to have to deal with 2 Ancient Stegodons. I'm not sure how this one... Yeah, this one actually has just been shot down by the Outriders. They've just been sitting there the entire time shooting. Tempest going down on Franz once again, and it's going to do good damage. Tempest does damage, also slows, so it causes major magical damage, which is very, very true to its tooltip. And I would imagine Dov Plays does have these Stegodons in guard mode, maybe, to keep them shooting, but it looks like he does opt to go into combat here and do some damage against the attackers. Now, the battle's pretty darn close here. Franz is in some trouble. The Empire has taken heavy casualties as it pertains to their elite units, but on the ground, they have a lot of, good infantry left. They have Sigmar Sons, they have the Greatswords here, of course, are winning their fights. Gotrek's in really good shape, and also it looks like Hadrius was able to actually take out one of the Stegodons. So that Stegodon does go down from the Outrider fire, and man, they have a really juicy position, just high ground. Not really too many ways for the Lizards to get up there and deal with them. I mean, they have a very defensive army, to say the least. But Franz going to be charging down here, trying to finish off the Legion of Chaqua with the Great Swords, of course, helping. And they're going to hold for quite some time. They have a lot of melee defense. They're up at 48 right there. But yeah, they'll probably go down to those Great Swords eventually. Granted, the Blood Statue of Spite is helping quite a bit, but so is the Reikland Runefang. Down on the low ground, Franz is going to be diving in, going after the Stegodon, getting some very good damage. He does have the Runefang active, of course, and he's been able to heal up quite a bit, so Franz is not quite as low as he was earlier. And it looks like the balance of power is actually starting to go in the favor of the Empire. For the longest time in this game, it was actually Lizard favored. Dov was in a very commanding position in the early game, but it looks like Hadrius has been able to scrap this game back. His Lance Demis here with the Reikland Runefang, able to catch this little Skink Chief here on the ground. Halberds are here as well, and the Stegodon probably going to get cycle charged, but no, it looks like the Toad is going to be having some problems. So Franz goes in, big mismatch for sure. This gelatinous Toad has never lifted a weight in his life, and Franz, he's pretty swole for sure, so he's probably going to be winning this fight. Well, that's a bit of a misconception. It's funny because I remember back in the day when I was a kid, I used to see these like bodybuilders and weightlifters and powerlifter types, and always think they were like really powerful fighters, like, oh, they could destroy anybody, but in reality, like, yeah, it's just totally the opposite, right? It's like these like scrappy dudes. Anyways, the Salon Mage Priest of Life going to be getting attacked by Karl Franz, and down goes the Toad, punted off his toilet seat, and it looks like it's going to be the Empire's game right now. You can see the other Stegodon has gone down right here. The Demogryph Knights, you know, putting some hurt on him for sure. And the Skink Chief is kind of wrapped up. The Empire has the Royal Altdorf Gryphite still to cause some terror outs on the massive amount of Skinks. And honestly, I just don't see how they can deal with Franz at this point. Franz is going to be a terror in the night in conjunction with the Demis. I mean, Demis can cycle charge pretty much everything. There's nothing with mass to really stop the Demis. Granted, Dov still does have the Chameleons up in the forest. There's 2 groups of those bad boys, and yeah, they can get some poke for sure, but I think it's too late. The Outriders have already done so much damage. They're able to really just pepper into that Stegodon this entire battle. And now Karl Franz is giving the order to his men to stand their ground as they fight against the remnants of the cohort of Sotek. Demogryph Knights with lances fighting shoulder to shoulder with... Wow, that was a really sad attack animation. Did you see that? That was like horrible. So that little skink, he got his arm cut off, and then he like crawled for a few yards and was like yelping for help, and then he just went down. Man, that's some dark stuff right there. I was not expecting that. Anyways, the cohort of Sotek looks like there's a couple models left, 2 of those guys, but for the most part, it will be army losses relatively soon, and Hadries will be taking game 1 in this best of 3. And again, today's stream is a practice stream. It's not a tournament, so players are just playing showcase best of 3s. It's a good opportunity for them to practice with less pressure and also just get to try out some new builds and things like that. So we do have a nice set of games. I believe in total we have 6 best of 3s on today's stream, so it should be a relatively long one. And that is the first game here, so let's go ahead and update that. Franz and the boys able to come in and deliver some Empire justice. And there we go. Let's go ahead and update the scoreboard here. And now the players are going to be picking armies for their second best of 3. So let's go ahead and put them on a different map here. We'll put them on the Iron Sand Desert. Next map is up. Now I'll come hang out with you guys and chat a little bit. Let's do it to it. Welcome, guys. Kenny Jensen says, so Turin, what do you think about the whole Reforged drama? Yeah, you know, yesterday I had some stuff I had to take care of, so I will continue to play Warcraft 3 Reforged and just Warcraft 3 in general, but I am very disappointed with the fact that they don't have ladders, they don't have a ranking system, they don't have clans anymore. I was very excited to grab a bunch of you guys from the community and start like a clan in Warcraft 3. So that's what I'm mainly disappointed about. I don't care so much about the campaign stuff. Because I played the campaign a million times as a kid, and you know it's exciting and everything. But yeah, so I'm pretty disappointed with Reforged, as I think most of the world is. But I'm still going to be playing it because I love Warcraft 3. Like the gameplay itself, the gameplay is fine. Like it plays pretty much the same. But I'm disappointed. But you know, we'll see how it goes. All right, what's up, Bubba's Big Blast, and then Ravius Carlias. Thank you for joining. What's up, Misha? Welcome to the stream. We got a lot of familiar faces again. And the upcoming 40K tabletop report, yes, it will be coming up at the end of next week, most likely. I'm filming it, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we'll be doing it. I know it's late at night, but, you know, it's just spontaneous. Just felt like doing it to it. Oh, guys, Dov coming in with vampire counts against Hadries, who is going in with his Dark Elves. So I have a feeling that Dov is going to be bringing a Wild Gorst pick. I was actually in chat with Dov, as well as Hadries and Felcon and a couple other folks before the stream. And there was a lot of talk of the might of Helman Gorst. So, yeah, we'll see. You know, Gorst is rocking 300 plus weapon strength on his cart. He's no joke. Dark Elves, it's very risky, though. Of course, they have crazy missile play, so it's a little bit dangerous for sure. But against like melee-centric factions, Gorst can actually be okay sometimes. So, about your 40K tabletop video, how accessible will it be? Paint models, but haven't played games yet? Paint models, but haven't played games yet. So, Flying Dutchman, I'm going to be playing with people in my 40K league that I know here in Los Angeles. We're going to be playing, I mean, yeah, the armies will be mostly fully painted, but there might be a couple models here and there that aren't painted. Like, for example, I'm playing an Emperor's Children army in my first game, and it's mostly fully painted. There's like 6 Terminators that aren't painted, but everything else in the army is. So yeah, that's going to be the game plan there. What's up, Wicked? What's cracking? What is cracking? Welcome to the stream, man. Almost done with your letter, by the way. Shadow Online Gaming, what's up? Yeah, tourney practice. That's pretty much what's going on here. Yeah, Gorst could be picked. The Gorst inning, yes. I don't know, because I put up a battle today on the channel playing against Hadries. Hadries and I played about 4 games the other day, and we both won. We both respectively won 2 games, but one of the games he did beat me was with Helman Gorst. He brought Gorst in vampire counts against my Norska, and I brought like a bunch of giants, and I didn't bring any like missile play really like heavy enough. And Gorst, man, was able to just drain down my forces, man. He was no joke. So I have a feeling Dov might come with like a foot Gorst build here. We'll see. Hadri's is ready, and of course Hadri's is a Dark Elf main, so I assume we're going to see some cool stuff. But again, today is a practice stream, so players will play relatively optimal builds, but also it's an opportunity to try new things out because there's no tournament brackets, there's no Ascension, it's basically just practicing for a tournament. And this is a new stream type I'll probably be running in my tournament Discord. Maybe like once a week we'll do one of these, and it's an opportunity for players who obviously want to get into multiplayer to play on stream and do things like that. It's usually first come first serve, but it'll be capped at like 5 or 6 best of 3s. All right, guys, pulling up chat here real quick. Again, welcome everyone. It's good to see you guys. And just getting the stream pulled up on my phone. I'm really excited to do the 40K stuff though. I'm working on a big terrain set for my table here at the house, so. Oh, look at that. YouTube's actually like popping up on my phone for once. Discord. No, bad. Bad. I don't want to hear myself talking. It's the weirdest thing. When I first started doing YouTube, and even for the longest time, like whenever I would go back and watch my own videos, like it's so painful to listen to yourself talk. I don't know, at least in my experience. All right, guys. So for the forces of Hadri's, let's take a look. We do have Marathi on foot. So Marathi coming in on foot, and she's a really good choice. She has a halberd. So she does also have the Soul Stealer. So if people blob up on her, she's pretty powerful for sure. Heart Rendered in the Dark Sword, Enchanting Beauty. So basically, -9 melee defense, -9 melee attack, and also another 9 melee attack debuff there. So in total, it's going to be -18 to all troops nearby. So that can really give the Dark Elves a huge advantage in the infantry fight. And Soul Stealer, she's quite solid there. We do have the dreaded Charybdis. Oh, this is going to be cool. So Charybdis is an interesting one. It's anti-large, and it should do very, very well against things like, Vargulfs and Terrorgeists and things like that. And it does also have a leadership penalty, which isn't super scary against the vampires. However, it still does matter because it can, of course, nuke their leadership into the point of crumbling. Over here, we do have the Sisters of Singing Doom, the Helabroni, the chillest of all the dudes in the realm, the Blackguard of Nagaron, and in the front, we do have the Blades of the Blood Queen. So a box, a Dark Elf box. So this is what I'm talking about. Today is like a practice stream, so it's an opportunity for players to try things a little bit outside of the box. On top of that, he does also have a Canate Assassin with the Web of Shadows, which does do AoE damage and slow as well. So for the forces of Dob plays, is it going to be Foot Gorse Notes, Heinrich Kemmler? That's equally as badass. So he's got Zombies into the Sunset. He does also have Skeleton Warriors, a Corpse Cart with a Necromancer, and it looks like the Heinrich is basically going to be the Distraction Carnifex, and the Necromancer is going to be the one with all the spells. So Invocation, Kebab, as well as Raise Dead. Black Knights at the back, which are actually pretty good now. Black Knights do have a bonus for his infantry, so against like Dark Elf troops, they can do some serious damage. Another Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone. Heinrich Kemmler is basically just going to be a Krell bot. So he summons Krell and uses his Chaos Tomb Blade. And with this kit out, he costs like 800 or 900. He's like dirt cheap. We have a White King, War Dissension on the far side, and some more skeletons. Man, absolute loony army here. This is going to be great. I always love watching Dob play games. He brings some really cool armies and has some really cool theory crafting and builds and all that good stuff. And we'll see how it goes. This build is certainly not outside the box. It is in the box. But yeah, the Charybdis is going to be neat. It's like you don't get to see units like that too often when you see tournaments. But I mean, I think he has some teeth against vampires. He does, of course, have the anti-large, the armor piercing. He doesn't heal like the Hydra, and I still think objectively the Hydra is probably a little bit better because it has breath attacks plus it regenerates, and especially the dreaded, aka Falcon Chill of Sontar. But yeah, I don't know. The Charybdis should do some work here. Could fend off the Mortis Engine, and the Mortis Engine is a very nice counter. Like if the Mortis Engine is not dealt with, Dov will be able to just crumble this build like super hard. So we'll see how it goes. It's time. The Jolly box or the Dark Elf box, I know. We're in for quite a treat. We are in for quite a treat. So here comes the army right here. Sisters of Singing Doom charging forward, and it looks like basically what Hadri's is doing, if you guys take a look. Dov's army was very wide, so he's just attacking one side of the formation to force the very slow zombies and skeletons to rotate over in that general direction. So he's basically just kind of rotating away from the formation here of the Counts. And now he's going to be taking up refuge in his box. He does have the Blackheart Corsairs to put some fire into the Mortis Engine. Zombies are going to be charging in, and these are no mere Harganeth Executioners. These are the Blades of the Blood Queen. These guys don't mess around. So they're going to be able to kill those zombies very, very quickly. And the Mortis Engine is now truffling its way in. Heinrich Kemmler going to be dropping a fat Krell summon here, I would imagine. And Krell is really cool too, because he does cause terror. So you get an additional terror-causing beast, basically, in your opponent's main lines. Kalab Nagash coming in here, and Hadri's does realize it's very important. He's going to be getting, man, look at that brutality. Web of Shadows, Soul Stealer going down, Focus Fire. Honestly, Dov could just lose the game here, basically, if the Kalab Nagash goes down. And he rampages it. Oh no, that's a disaster. That was like the one way that Hadri's would be able to take this game quickly is if he kills this Mortis Engine, and it looks like he did succeed in that. Dov probably going to be responding. Oh, and the Wand of Crydon from Rathi. Oh, brutal damage, and this thing is crumbling, -30. Dov needs to save this thing. He needs to invo it, needs to pull it back. But the Charybdis gets another attack. He can't pull it back because it's rampaging, so obviously no control there. And brutal start to the game. the Mortis engine is already down. So now the Vampire Count's got a full surround here. But without the Mortis engine, it's going to be much tougher to kill these very elite infantry. Granted, the troops are kind of beat up. Sisters of Singing Doom are very, very tattered here. The Black Guard of Nagarond also in relatively bad shape. And Marathi here in the pits is, wow, Marathi's getting worked on by Krell and the White King, though. So Dov with the comeback. Look at that. The White King coming in, Krell coming in as well, and just beating down Marathi. So that's a pretty dicey situation. The Vampires still do have corpse cards, so they're going to have really nice kind of force multiplying effects here. The dreaded Charybdis looks like it's wading across the battlefield trying to get on Heinrich Kemmler. There it goes. It, of course, is an anti-large monster, but it still can function relatively well against foot characters because it has pretty good melee attack at 58 here. Nonetheless, still going in. Even if Heinrich Kemmler does go down, though, the Necromancer is the true leader of this army. He's the one with all the spells and all the goodness. In the back, we do, of course, have one group of Blood Knights from Dov plays, and it looks like they are able to get a good charge here on the Charybdis. Black Knights in the back charging in once again into the Helibroni, who, of course, are not braced because they're in combat. So they're going to be taking heavy charge there from the Helibroni, the chillest of the dudes in all the realm. So the White King's still fighting, Krell is still going. Vampires are certainly in this game. The one issue is, of course, when Krell disappears, is going to be a big force lost here for the Vampires. And here you can see that Heinrich Kemmler still going strong. Invocation is healing him up, and he is in mortal combat here with a Sorceress of Death. And does he have any help he can pull in? He does have Blood Knights, and it looks like Dov is pulling back the Blood Knights. Oh man, but Heinrich Kemmler gets punted, just absolutely sent across the battle lines here, right over the zombies, and it looks like the Charybdis is coming in, but a countercharge coming in from the Blood Knights of Dov, going to be going into the rear here, and you can see the Charybdis still being sent into the Shadow Realm as it is pushed out here into the Great Beyond. Anyways here, Blood Knights coming in, going to be getting a pretty decent little surround here on the Charybdis. This is a really nice pick here from Dov. The Charybdis is going to have some problems getting back in, but it looks like it's pushing through relatively well. It has really good mass, but in the process, it does take a lot of damage. Now, as far as the bounce power goes, it's really even. The Black Guard are in good shape here. There is another group of Black Guard that are doing pretty well, and the Blades of the Blood Queen, of course, are fighting the Sternsmen, which is a very ideal situation for them with their bonus force infantry, and they're up to 79 kills. Over here in the distance, though, the Necromancer is now being targeted, so the actual caster here for the Vampire Counts is being gone after by by a Spirit Leech, it looks like. Where'd that Spirit Leech come from? Oh, the Deathcaster, of course. So Spirit Leech is on the Necromancer here, but it looks like the Charybdis is broken, and I think Dov is going to smell blood in the water. If he can pull one group of Black Knights or Blood Knights or anything, basically, and just chase off this Charybdis, that is going to be value city, to say the least. The K-8 Assassin, as well, is in mortal combat here. Looks like he's fighting against Heinrich Kemmler. There are also some undead here. It looks like mostly zombies, and we do also have Black Guard here as well. But Heinrich Kemmler could be in a little bit of trouble. He's surrounded by the dreaded Black Guard, the elite of the Dark Elves, essentially. And Heinrich Kemmler is in the Bone Zone for sure. He's going to be getting taken out here by the Assassin, I would imagine. Dov still has some pretty good punch, though, in his army. He has a lot of cav units, so cycle charging could be a very powerful tool for him here. The Charybdis is gone as well. Oh no, it came back! How did that thing come back? Oh, that is disastrous. And the Charybdis coming back could spell doom. If this Charybdis could make it back to the battle lines and stand on top of halberds and spears in the late game, I don't think that the Vampire Counts will have a way to win that. So if the Charybdis comes back, we'll see how it goes. Black Knight's pulling back once again, and you can see here the Skeleton Warriors and the Zombies, of course, yeah, not going to put much of a dent in these heavily armored troops. 100 armor on these bad boys is very, very tough to bring down. So here the Necromancer getting shot by the Black Ark Corsairs with handbows, and what's cool about Black Ark Corsairs is even if you summon zombies on them, they're very tough in melee combat, so they can actually put up a pretty good fight. And here, of course, we have a Spirit Leech and some Focus Fire coming in from these archers. The Charybdis is chased off once again, so nice play there by Dov, but I think it's too little too late. I think he really needed that Mortis engine, and just getting it caught there early in the battle, I think really was just the sole factor as to why the game went so south. Had the Mortis engine been able to drain for most of the battle, like stay away from the Charybdis and do some really good work there, the Black Guard would crumble, the Blades of the Blood Queen would crumble down, and that would be probably all she wrote. But that is going to be GG there. It is going to be a 2-0 for Hadri's here in this best of 3. And now, guys, we will be moving over to our next best of 3 of the day. Heinrich Kemmler flying like an absolute eagle through the skies. Remember that song? Fly like an eagle. He's doing it. Yes. Welcome. Welcome, guys. I see some new faces joining. Up to 500 just about. Cool build, though. Dark Elf box. It had some teeth for sure. The Mortis engine was a great answer, but unfortunately it just kind of got caught in a bit of an unfortunate situation with the getting the Rampage. Like, I didn't really see how the Witch Elves had a way in there, to be honest, but they still were able to Rampage that thing, and from there, the Wand of Crydon, the Soul Stealer, the Corsairs, and the Charybdis were able to just kill that thing super quick, which really was the deciding factor in the game, so well played indeed. Well played indeed. And now we're going to be jumping over to the next game. GG, guys. Next 2 players in. And now we're going to call in our next 2 players here. So I have to make room in the lobby. Boom, boom. And let me go ahead and tag them in the Discord. All right, so now we have Anticity. You two are up. Alrighty, perfect. So well played to Dov and Hadri. Certainly some very fun games with some wild builds. I don't really have any interest in SFO, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's great and everything, but I don't know. I prefer the vanilla experience. I think it's like, it's what people are playing when they buy the game, right? Like, yeah, I think mods have more of a place when a game has kind of run its cycle to add some more flavor to it. And I currently think, you know, the game as it is quite enjoyable for me. So, yes, GG indeed. Yeah, players are practicing for tournaments. So today we just have best of threes. We just had one between Dov and Hadris. That was great. And it looks like no P. All right, so one player is having troubles with the downloads. So let me go ahead and see here. One sec, guys. Just going to set this up real quick. Current status. And in the meantime, I will update these scorecards. All right. Anticity. Of course, Anticity has been doing really well in a lot of the community tournaments. And we can wait. His opponent is at 90% on the beta download, so we're going to wait a minute or two for him, and then we'll be jumping into the next match today. Anticity versus Aneurysm Sauce. Both players who've been playing in my ECLs and doing very, very solid work for sure. I don't even know how to spell this word. It's a weird word. Alrighty. Firing that bad boy up. And there we go. All right, 0-0 here in the series. And we're going to be going on to, we'll do Character on. I think it's a pretty good map. It's a flat one. Looks like Anticity is thinking about playing the Proud Dowie, so perhaps we could have some spice there. Most of those kills were indeed zombies, correct. Turin, I can't wait for the next match. So much anticipation. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid here. Yeah, a lot of the kills on the black card were from zombies. So yeah, there is a little bit of a false inflation there in terms of the value accrued. Mortis engines are so good against elite infantry. They're so cost effective. But again, you know, there was some good tools against the Mortis engine as well. The Charybdis, of course, packs some heavy punch in that respect. All right. And he should be finishing here relatively soon, firing up the game. And now we'll just take questions in chat. We will do it to it. Take here, guys. Matthias Docile, you've only missed one best of three. So today we have a couple more. If we look at the best of threes, we have Anticity versus Aneurysm Sauce, Undertaker versus Gok, Random Nix versus Falcon, and Zyphos versus Rame to close out today's stream, which will be quite a bit of fun. Very excited for that. Yeah, just kind of a showcase stream so you guys get a chance to see a lot of replays, cast a lot of games out of the blue. And then after this, I'm going to go work on my 40K terrain I'm trying to develop. And we're going to get it painted up, do some spray painting, all that kind of good stuff, and make it look nice for the battle report we're going to be shooting next week. No, the Mortis engine just heals HP. It does not. But Heinrich Kemmler's Chaos Tombblade does actually resurrect models, as does Invocation of Nehek. So there's a couple ways to resurrect in conjunction with that. The Gortys engine, yeah, the Gortys engine's coming for sure. I think we'll see it today. I think Rame likes to play Vampire Counts a lot, so if there is going to be a champion of Gorst, it would probably be him. Yeah, and the Vampire passive as well, correct. Do you think they'll ever make Kislev more fun to play? Well, Kislev isn't technically in the game yet, really. I mean, yeah, they are like a sub-faction of the Empire, basically, but they don't have a unique flavor. But I do think that they're going to have Kislev be a fully fleshed out faction someday. I have streamed several multiplayer campaigns, as a matter of fact. I did probably, like, Jay Scott, to answer your question, I've done about 5 or 6 with Italian Spartacus. So, yeah, you can check those out on my channel if you want. They're really fun. They're ridiculous. But the last one we did was, I think it was my Beastmen against his Bretonia. It was a multiplayer campaign. Yeah. Just going to check in on the status of the players here, make sure they're good. Great. And he's loading in right now. Excellent. Should be here in just a second. Hopefully you can see the lobby. Should be able to. I think he's on my friends list. Let me double check here. Yeah, I wish Steam didn't have like a cap on my friends list. It's really obnoxious. Favorite rock band? Oh man. Metallica, Foo Fighters. I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. Those are some of the bands I listen to a lot. I really like Queens of the Stone Age. Audioslave, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Those are bands I've been listening to quite a bit. Yeah, probably the funniest of the head-to-head campaigns I ever did with Spartacus was his Wintertooth. So he was Wintertooth, and I was the dwarves. I was playing Ungrim Iron Fist, and that was just pure humor. It was so good. I would do another one if Sparty wanted to. I don't know if he's interested, but if he is, he can let me know. I don't know. Sparty, if you're here. All right. In bands. Yes. And starts. So we're going to do picks and bans here. Players are going to go. Practicing the tournament format. So basically, Jan, usually the next Ever Chosen, which I don't know when it's going to be, but usually they're in sync with new DLC. So whenever that is announced, like I assume there'll be an Ever Chosen shortly before or after. Yeah. It's Ryan, look. He says he doesn't. That's funny. Well, yeah, Ryan, we were talking about our best head-to-head campaigns. People were asking about them. Ryan, oh, Ryan, Misha says you're hyped for it. He loves the idea. Let's do another head-to-head campaign. Oh my god, that Surtha Ek one was probably... I was literally like... You know how when you laugh so hard, you get like a pressure headache? You know, so like someone just keeps getting you... Like Ryan was making me laugh so hard that I was literally getting a pressure headache. And like I would like tears in my eyes. Like I felt like my eyes were going to pop out. Like it was... I don't know. I haven't laughed that organically in a long time. Yeah, it was great. Like when Throg was trying to catch Surtha Ek. All right, so we got Chaos vs. Dwarves. Wow, looks like they're about ready. So first match is going to be, the first of this showcase is going to be Anticity versus Aneurysm Sauce. It's going to be Dwarves facing off against Chaos, which I actually think is a good matchup. It used to be ever so slightly favored for Chaos, but I think Dwarves have some good teeth here. You know, with a very wide Thunder line and some good cannon play, and Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns now are quite effective as well. So, you know, Dwarves have a lot of new-ish tools. Plus, if you want to go with like Gotrek and Felix and just go for like a Goon Squad in that respect, it can do some serious work for sure. Oh my god, what is this monstrosity here? Oh my god! The triple hell cannon! Oh, guys, it's happening. Alright, guys. Sotek, if you want to do a head-to-head campaign, man, let's start one next week. Let's do it. We'll have to find a fun one to do. Because I basically, my dwarf campaign's basically finished, so... It literally has 2 more turns left. Like, I ended the last episode like with like 2 turns left, and it's like, I might just put up a video or just call it over, but... Alright guys, so for the Forces of Chaos, there's a couple ways you can play against dwarves. One way is to bum rush and swarm them. The other way is to force them out of their box. Now, it looks like this Chaos build is going to be going for the dreaded triple hell cannon, which are going to be protected by halberds, which is a very interesting choice. I don't know why you wouldn't use great weapons, but nonetheless, halberds here going to be protecting the Soul of Damnation as well as 2 other hell cannons. Aside from that, we have Marauder Horsemen to defend against Gyrocopter play. A bunch of Marauder, Chaos Marauders into the sunset, just running across the whole front line here. And we do also have Sartorial the Everwatcher. So, of course, he has Foundal Transmutation, Plague of Rust to synergize with the Javelins. But really, the main threat here is going to be the frickin' triple dreaded hell cannon. Very excited for this. Now, for Anticity and the Jawi, front line of Longbeards, he does have 1 flame cannon. Oh my god, I don't know if they coordinated this or they're just trying new things, but the flame cannon is hiding behind these rocks here. On top of that, he does also have the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, Althar's Raiders, 2 groups of Trollhammer Torpedoes to deal with Chariots, and then also Iron Drakes with, Slayers in the back. So Dragonback Slayers as well as regular Slayers. This is going to be absolute lunacy, guys. Absolute madness. Yeah, we're going to be doing our 40k battle report. It should be going up again, like a week and a half from now. So Hell Cannons, this is the thing a lot of Dwarf players aren't used to. When they get forced out of the box, when I play Vampire Coast against Dwarves, I often bring like 4 Carronades and try and force them out. And it works really well because a lot of Dwarf players aren't used to this. But we'll see if Anticity can handle the heat. Flame Cannon shooting in, roasting some Chaos Marauders, it looks like. A little bit obstructed here by this giant rock. But man, that is super inaccurate. My goodness, look at that. So shooting in here, Hell Cannon probably shouldn't be targeting the Flame Cannon. It probably wants to shoot. I would honestly get like like 2 Hell Cannons and put them on top of the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, and then maybe get 1 more and put it on. Yeah, Slayers are a good choice as well. Dragonback Slayer's taking a little bit of poke, and here comes the Flame Cannons shooting in. Quite an epic battle so far. Flame Cannons and Hell Cannons into the sunset. We have Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, as well, charging forward. And, I mean, the Slayers might just bum rush the back line and try and take out the Hell Cannons, but the Chaos Warriors with Halberds should be relatively durable there. Nonetheless, so Chaos Marauders are pushing into the back line. You don't want to be fighting Dragonback Slayers against Marauders. You definitely want to get the Ironbreakers. And here they come. They've interlocked their shields, dropping blasting charges to cover the retreat of their Slayer buddies. These Marauders getting Shrek'd pretty hard. You can see down to 68 models. And down they go. So yeah, obviously the Dwarves will win the front line horribly. Like, it's going to be a massacre for Chaos based on this army composition. But, I mean, the Hell Cannons could generate a lot of value if the battle goes on a long time and they can just, you know, use their full salvos of fire. So it's going to be pretty wild. Blasting charge going down here into the Miners. Here comes another one right here from the Soul of Damnation. And here it comes, damning some souls. Nope, no souls damned that time. Looks like the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer Torpedoes are going to be okay. Nonetheless, Hell Cannon's still shooting in, raining some hot fire into the Dwarven ranks, but it gets even scarier because as the Dwarves do advance here, eventually these Halberds are going to have to fight, and Hell Cannons are going to have to, you know, they're going to have to scrap. Those Chaos Dawi are going to have to get their wrenches and their pitchforks out and, you know, go fisticuffs with their superior cousins. Nonetheless, though, you know, Hell Cannons, I really like the positioning here of Aneurysm Sauce. Like, the fact that he put them, like, really far apart is really good against Dwarves, because Dwarves can, like, you know, they either have to spread out and go after all 3, which weakens the army as a whole, or they have to, you know, yeah, basically it can pull them apart, which is cool. So the Chicken here causing some problems. His drumsticks beating down on the Iron Drakes. Dwarves still advancing here across the board. Flame Cannon shooting in as well. I would imagine the Flame Cannon is going to come up and start shooting at the Chaos Warriors with Halberds, who, even though they are Halberd units, they do have not anti-large, but good AP value, so the AP is going to be useful and will help them put up a fight against, like, Dwarf Warriors and things like that. So the Dwarves still advancing here. Trollhammer Torpedoes in the back, able to punish the Marauder Horsemen horribly. Those guys just get blasted off the map. And now it's a time of reckoning, guys. I mean, Grombrindle's going to get back here. He does need some help, though. He doesn't want to be fighting a ton of AP units by himself. And this is a good play as well. If he can blob up on the turkey back here, use a final transmutation, then also use the Hell Cannons to blast the blob on top of him. Very powerful stuff. The Trollhammer Torpedoes in the back still shooting in. 13 of 21 models dropping some hot fire. Brutal shot right there. That Hell Cannon tearing into the formation. Looks like a Searing Doom as well, but unfortunately the Chicken did kind of move out of the way and kind of accidentally pulled them away from the radius of that spell. Now, Balance Spire is pretty much dead even. This is like a very, very close battle. Both armies kind of scrapping in the open field. Halberds have been sent forward now, so the Halberds are trying to hold back the might of the White Dwarf, which of course is probably not going to be great for them. Grombrindle is very powerful. One guy just flies into the camera, and the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers are coming. The Flame Cannon is shooting. Talk about heavy metal. Just like these Chaos Warriors just fighting while like flames are erupting around them. Grombrindle just covered in blood of the Chaos Warriors, raising his axe in victory as these guys are forced back. But man, absolute brutality there as Grombrindle and his boys are able to push them back. Now here we do have some Longbeards. They were able to get into the back lines, and they are having to engage against Marauder Horsemen, which is great. They're going to be able to cut these guys down pretty easily. So this one Hell Cannon is pretty much compromised at this point. Looks like the Dwarves will be able to overrun this position. However, the other one's still shooting here. Dwarf Warriors here will lose to these Halberds, and this Hell Cannon is still going strong, so it's still anyone's game at this point. Very, very close. But I would say, based on the current circumstances of the game, I would say it's slightly Dwarven favored. I think it's going to be pretty tough once his Hell Cannon goes, and this one over here potentially gets compromised as well. But I guess there's not really too much pressure over here. What is it? Some Dwarf Warriors and Miners? Yeah, these Halberds should be able to do well. So, you know, the Dwarves are in the middle here. Warp Chicken is getting chopped down a little bit, guys. The Flash Bomb slowing him down, but it looks like he is able to get away as the Slayers continue to chase. And here he comes running for the hills. Oh man, look at him go. Scroll of Power, all those goodies, activated Standard Die, Arcane Conduit. Really nice Hell Cannon shot right into the heart of those freaking Ironbreakers right there. But the Dwarves are pulling ahead on the Bounce Power a little bit. You can see Sartorial, even though he is very durable against missile play, is starting to take some heavy missile damage. Hell Cannon fire raining in, just absolute savagery. So here the Dwarves are able to compromise that one Hell Cannon. The Chaos Dwarves have been smited this day. Looks like a final transmutation. No, Piercing Bolt's going to be going down, doing some decent AoE damage, but nonetheless the Chicken is in some serious trouble. Oh, and down goes Sartorial, dropped by the axe, the Rune Axe of Grimnir, held by Grombrindle. I'm pretty sure that's correct. But nonetheless, Grombrindle able to chop down that Chicken. There still is the Soul of Damnation on the far side for sure. I think Kolek might have been a little bit of a stronger choice, but even still, it's hard to say. If you're trying to like pull Dwarves apart, the Chicken is pretty good for that. So the Trollhammer Torpedoes are now shooting into the Chaos Warriors with Halberds here. Not a good situation for them. And if the Trollhammers actually shoot at the Hell Cannon, they could probably kill it. And the thing is, if the Halberds go to chase the Trollhammer Torpedoes, these Miners are just kind of waiting, licking their chops, and they could come in and finish off the Hell Cannon. It's a bit of a tough situation to be caught in for sure. Flame Cannon up to 66 kills, pretty heavy metal stuff. A direct hit right there on that far side cannon, not doing too much damage. And the Flame Cannon's still going in and just tearing into these Chaos Warriors. And the White Dwarf comes in. I mean, the Dwarven army's very beat up. If you look around the battlefield, it's pretty beleaguered, but Chaos is certainly on the receiving end of things here. So here you can see that the miners with blasting charges going to be coming in, charging down the Soul of Damnation. And here come these Slayers here. Norgumling Ironbreakers as well going to be engaging. And yeah, Grombrindle should be able to single-handedly chop these guys down with a little bit of infantry support, I would imagine. And yeah, glorious Hell Cannon play. Man, what a great game in our second best of 3. The triple Hell Cannon against a Flame Cannon. You can't ask for much more in life. So here come the miners with blasting charges, going to be fighting their Chaos Dawi cousins. For once, the miners are actually in an engagement in which they have the advantage, as the Chaos Dwarves are cleaved asunder by the proud Dawi, many oaths being settled to stay as this one Chaos Dwarf. I love it. This guy's like, the other Chaos Dwarves are like, hey buddy, you go forward and take a beating from like 100 miners while we stay back here and keep firing the cannon. This one guy here just getting clubbed, and man, this Chaos Dwarf is a beast. He's been getting clubbed for like a good minute. There he goes. Okay, he got decapitated. Right when I was hyping him up. I was his hype guy. Didn't work out well. So it looks like the Dwarves are going to be taking the game here, as this Hell Cannon is going to be compromised. Looks like a GG maybe being dropped. No, good luck, have fun from these players. And here on the far side, we do have the Chaos Warriors with Halberds surging forward, but under a torrent of fire here from the Ulthar's Raiders and the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer Torpedoes. And that is going to be GG, as the miners are going to be collapsing in on the Hell Cannon crews. And that is going to be a Dawi victory. Many grudges satisfied this day. Yeah, dwarf on dwarf action, a little bit. And that is going to be game 1 for Anticity here in this best of 3. So let's go ahead and update the scorecard. And for anyone joining today, this is a practice stream. So basically people from my tournament Discord are able to jump in and just play best of 3s against other folks and just get some practice for tournaments and things like that without, of course, having to play in a whole tournament. All right. So let us go ahead and get ready for the next match, which we will do on Angui. GG. Yeah, aneurysm sauce. He knows the Hell Cannons were ambitious for sure. Picks and bans, go, go. We'll see what they do for the next match. They're going to do their picks and bans, and I'm going to come hang out and chat with you guys for a minute. See how things are going. Yes, it's good to see some familiar faces as always. Wicked says, when I was newer to MP and started co-casting in my first month, I was extremely cautious with what I said. I would ask my co-caster lots of prompts and questions. It's always a good idea, for sure. Even if you know the answer, like just to get your partner involved, it's very, very good indeed. I would ask my co-casters lots of prompts and questions. Absolutely, man. Yes, Misha's on the hunt. You better watch out, guys. Dawi versus Dawi, Dawi versus Chaos Dawi preview. Is that how it's going to go? Probably so. Yeah, the crews for the Hell Cannons are actually Chaos Dwarves, which it's kind of cool. You get to see a little bit of a tease what they might look like someday. The dreaded triple Hell Cannons do some work. And honestly, it can work. Satisfy the grudge! Jacksaw, thank you so much for becoming a new member here on the channel. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy your new squig icon and some of the emojis you have. I need to update those for sure, but thank you guys so much. And Wicked, Misha, if you guys could actually drop some links to the tournament Discord, please do. It's a great place to get involved in multiplayer. We host a lot of events, and it's always a good time. And even if you're not great at it, who cares? Just come and play some games and have fun. You know, it's like beer. It can be like beer and pretzels if you want to, right? You just grab some cool people, you just play some games, you lose, you laugh, whatever. Or it could be more serious, and then you play in tournaments, like whatever floats your boat. So it's going to be Anticity on the Empire and Aneurysm Sauce on the Vampire Counts. All right, this is a classic one. The battle for, the Eastern Empire with Sylvania against the Reichland here. Should be quite a bit of fun. Angui, of course, a good map for both factions. Tree lines for the vampires to hide in, and open field for the Empire to shoot in. Haven't caught a stream in a while. And it's kind of like the same thing as like 40K. Like you can go play Warhammer 40K at my local store, and you could totally take a beer and pretzels approach and just like bring a casual fun army, and there's plenty of people to play with. Or if you want to play in the RTTs and the tournaments and take it a little bit more seriously, you absolutely can. Yes. So I would 100% recommend joining, guys. It's really fun. And like honestly, just, even if you play one game a week, who cares? It's just about having a good time. Josh Edwards, you're up next in the tourney, huh? Let's see who's next here. So after this one, we have, one sec here. We have The Undertaker versus Gok. Ah, that must be you, man. And we have Random Nicks against Falcon and Zyphos versus Raim to close out the stream. It is time. So players picking their armies already up just to make sure they're all good to go. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. Really appreciate it. Jacksaw. Jacksaw's ready. Remember Bonesaw's ready from the original Spider-Man? That was so good. So beer and pretzels is like a term to describe like more casual, relaxed gameplay. in general. Josh Edwards, your go. Oh, right on, man. Well, Josh, if you have any questions about multiplayer or builds right now, now's a good time to ask them before the game. And people in chat can help as well. There's some very good tournament players here watching. Jacksaw says, enjoy all your content. Been watching since the beginning. Man, cheers. Glad to have you here the whole time. My lovely wife saying hello.
You have the camera on?
No webcam is on.
Okay.
I like saying it like Goku, but that might get you demonetized. No, Goku's fine.
Then I'm gonna give you a juicy kiss.
Goku means, doesn't Goku just mean rice in Japanese? I think it does. Dr. Smuggles, I would answer your question, how did Palpatine come back? But it's a bit of a spoiler, so I don't want to go into that. Curious to see how Vamps will be played. Vampire counts are pretty good, actually, guys. A lot of people say, like, okay, so Vampires have some really, really strong matchups. Like, they're super good against, I think, like, factions like Beastmen and, like, pretty decent against Greenskins. Although Greenskin Daka builds are super good against them nowadays, so it's kind of changing a little bit. But I think counts are a really competitive faction. Now, they're a little bit... They're not as, like, oppressive as they used to be. Some of the nerfs to Invocation, to adding a maximum amount of targets, you can only hit 4 models. There's a lot of things that did nerf them. But really, I think, like, dynamic Footlord builds with the Vampire counts, like using White Kings and, like, Corpse Cards and things like that, are actually really damn strong right now. Against Empire, though, I think you're probably going to see, like, a Skeleton, maybe a couple Graveguard in the front line with some Blood Knight support. I would imagine some Black Knights as well to harass the gun lines and chase things down. You know, chase down Pistoliers, Outriders, that sort of stuff. Anyways, guys, let's take a look here at the Empire build. It's going to be a triple Pistolier. On top of that, we do have some Knights of the Blazing Sun on the flanks with Demogryph Knights with Halberds. Of course, pretty good tool to fight against some of the evil vampire monsters. We have a Bright Wizard as well with the Flamestorm, Burning Head, as well as the Flaming Sword of Ruin. 2 Great Swords in the center, which, you know, normally Great Swords, you know, do have some trouble against, you know, other elite infantry. But here with the Sword of Volkmar the Grim and his powerful ass mustache, they should be quite durable. Also, guys, I just wrote the script for the Vampire Coast Guide, so that should be coming out soon as well. I just need to record it now, so all the builds are ready, the text is ready, so the script is all good to go. So there will be a competitive multiplayer guide to the Vampire Coast, as that's pretty much my main faction nowadays. And that's pretty much it. Pistoliers, also a very good tool, very fast. They can deal with the Skirmishers, kite the Fellbats, kite the Scurvy Dogs, or the Direwolves, excuse me, and yeah, love the build. So, of course, Empire is going to be played by Anticity, who's currently up 1-0 here. And now for the armies here of our boy, what has he got here? He's got White Kings of Aneurysm Sauce. He's got White King. He does also have Heinrich Himmler, going to be coming in with some Fat Krell. Up in the sky, he does have a Vampire of Death, which is a good choice. Dropping Spirit Leech on Demis or Buna on, you know, other elite cav units is never a bad idea. Bunch of Black Knights, 2 groups of Wolves, one of which is going to be the Dire Pack. On the far side, we do have a Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone and a very wide infantry line. Zombies mostly. Sternsbin in the middle. Fellbats for disruption on the missile lines. And yeah, just sending Fellbats after Pistoliers isn't necessarily a bad idea. And we do also have the Feasters in the Dusk, which I really like as a Vanguard play here. I think that's solid by Aneurysm. Sauce, I'll just call him Sauce for short. Because Sauce is going to be able to get those guys potentially on the back line to like shut down artillery, but there isn't any in this situation. But a lot of times Empire will have like a Hammer of the Witches, and sending the Feasters to kind of sneak around and take that out can be very, very cost effective. So good builds by both players. Very excited to see how this goes. And yeah, I think the Empire build, though, for sure is going to have some really good teeth against this Vampire build, just based on what I see here. Falcon says Bliat Knights destroy everything on the Empire roster. They are very, very good. Blood Knights can do some serious work. You know, especially with a little bit of a kebab support. Van Hell's Dance Macabre Kebab does some great work. Volkmar the Grim, though, his mustache, you know, it's pretty heavy. It's hard to take that thing down. Now, as far as that's my concern kind of for this Vampire army. Like, I don't see here what is going to be good against Volkmar. Like, there really isn't anything that's good against Volkmar. I don't think there's any Blood Knights or any, like, you know, single entities that can really take him down. So, honestly, I think if there is going to be a doom for this Vampire count build, it's the fact that Volkmar the Grim is going to be a raid boss. Like, there's nothing really that's great. White Kings can do some work, but it's still a tough one. So Fellbat's charging in a little bit preemptive, if you ask me. I think you've got to be a little bit more conservative with these guys, but nonetheless, you know, he is disrupting them and keeping them away from his main line as he does advance. Fellbats are able to push through the main lines. It looks like Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Demis in position to kind of countercharge those guys, and some of those poor bats are able to get back up in the sky, but nonetheless, we'll see how it goes. Yes. Yes, indeed. And now you can see the undead are advancing. Stern's been coming out of the tree line. So far, good picks for here from the Empire, able to deal with a lot of the Fellbats. Basically, what you want to do with the Fellbats, guys, is you want to fly them around and just kind of lurk here, and then when your front line collapses, you can like start chasing once they commit their other elements. So basically, it's like forces the Pistoliers to deal with them alone, but here they had support, for example. They had the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and probably about 700 gold. I mean, I think Fellbats are 350 apiece. So, Yeah, I mean, that's like 700 gold gone for the vampires pretty quickly here. Granted, at the cost of some ammunition, but again, they're more than happy to just shoot Feldbats and things like that. So here comes the undead army, the vampire caster up in the sky, the vampire of death, going to be flying overhead, cackling, doing evil necromancer things. The frontline fight could actually go okay. If you get the White King and Heinrich Kemmler beating on these greatswords here with a Krell summon, that could be very strong indeed. So here comes the fight. Sternsman, of course, going to be pretty solid with their bonus for infantry, but they do not have the best AP values. But with the support of these heroic characters, Heinrich Kemmler and the White King, this should be a decent fight here, as a couple of greatswords do fall on the initial impact. But the Sternsmen are also taking some heavy casualties as well. In the meantime, Black Knights and all the Scurvy Doggos and Direwolves are going to be swarming around the flanks, trying to chase down the Pistoliers. There are 4 in total. So, I mean, if you put a Black Knight on each of these units and a dog on each of these units, that would probably be enough to stretch someone's micro. Granted, there is going to be some support coming in from Knights of the Blazing Sun. So there are spears here in Black Knights as well. I mean, they could probably swarm these Knights of the Blazing Sun, which I would do. Pull the Vampire, drop like a Bune on these guys, swarm them with everything, just pick them off while you can. A huge metal burning head going down, just wrecking those skeletons here. A little bit of lag. Apologies, guys. It does happen every now and then. But the burning head is able to tear through. Oh, no, and now it comes into the Sternsman. Oh, brutal. And a banishment as well from Volkmar the Grim. It looks like that one is not going to be quite as good. Going to be going away from the spears. But the burning head did do some really good damage. Basically, it just shreked this whole formation of skeleton spears. Burning head, a very good spell. If you overcast it, as a matter of fact, it can really even burn through like Graveguard and elite troops. In the meantime, vampires do respond by dropping a summon here on top of the greatswords. The greatswords are going to be tar pitted for quite some time. The vampires here are able to get a big engagement. So here you can see that the Knights of the Blazing Sun do get trapped. So this is a really good catch here for Aneurysm, for Mr. Sauce. He's able to pick those guys off. But it looks like, oh no, a Flamestorm's coming down, guys. Flamestorm is going to be fat. And look at the damage coming in. And taking the heater from our room to warm up Wookiee. But that Flamestorm was really cool. It actually was able to burn down some witches for sure. Feasters in the Dusk are swarming from the flanks as well, so this is a nice little catch for the vampires for sure. Balance Bar is still Empire favored though. The frontline engagement is so heavily favored for the Empire. Volkmar the Grim is just going balls deep in this frontline fight, and yeah, Invocation of Nehek going down, trying to salvage this situation, but he's burning through the witches for sure. And the greatswords are in really good shape, which means he's going to have plenty of stopping power. There's a full health group of Demogryph Knights with halberds, and yeah, they're going to be able to easily deal with these Black Knights, especially with Pistolier and Volkmar support. So I hate to call games relatively early, but I do think this one is going to be very Empire favored. There would have to be some really big like plays here, because like the sustainability of this Empire core being buffed by Volkmar is really scary. Flaming Sword of Ruin going down as well means that, you know, the zombies and Heinrich Kellner is also trapped in here amongst these elite troops, and the Sternsmen only going to be lasting probably a little bit longer, especially with the Flaming Sword of Ruin buffing up these troops here. Although Krell's still going strong. Krell has about another 15 seconds before he does degrade here. So we'll see how that goes. But man, really cool seeing the Flamestorm attempt. Look at this. A flank denial being Anticity just with a perfect rotation, pulling around his own army and forcing his opponent to kind of have to move through his troops here. These Black Knights, of course, going to have to fight some Flagellants, which they'll do good damage against, but the whole time they're going to be taking shots from the Pistoliers. Krell's on the hunt. Krell is a good answer against Volkmar for a short period of time, but again, Volkmar can just run away. Scar has 50 speed against 33 here on Krell, and we'll see if we can catch him, but it looks like Krell is going to be like, screw this shit. I feel like Krell should get like a conditional... I don't know. It really bums me out that Krell is like a short-term summon. Now, as far as the battle goes over here, it looks like vampires have pulled the bounce power back a little bit, so there are some variables that are going quite well. Volkmar the Grim, though, is tanking these Black Knights relatively efficiently. Halberds, of course, chewing into them. But the undead are holding here, guys. Maybe he's going to make me eat my words. You know, if Aneurysm, Mr. Sauce here can get some good snipes on the characters, right? As I say that, he snipes out the Bright Wizard. Maybe he's going to be able to get back in this game. Hard to say. Another nice summon coming down on top of the Greatswords here. And it looks like the Bright Wizard is going to be taken out. Anticity definitely wants to grab these Pistoliers and intercept the Vampire if he can, because that would actually buy some time for the Bright Wizard to potentially come back. But it looks like Banishment coming down from Volkmar as well, chewing through the Feasters in the Dusk here. And here the Pistoliers are shooting in. Pretty much the whole Vampire position here is crumped. Krell is going to be going down. Krell is now gone. And basically the last bastion of hope here for the Vampires is Heinrich Kemmler plus his White King that he's fighting shoulder to shoulder with here. He does also have the Vampire up in the sky, but basically, as it pertains to the Vampire Count army, all they have left are summons and single entity kind of units here, which, I mean, the Great Swords, look at that. There's 83 Great Swords, which can basically just chew through these guys while Volkmar the Grim cycle charges them. There's nothing the Vampires can do, so I guess my prediction was relatively correct. But, you know, nice showing there from the Vampires at the end, scrapping back. It was a really, really good play for sure. Really, really sure indeed. So Volkmar is also healing. He does have the Jade Griffin, so Volkmar the Griffin, I was going to call him, is constantly healing, so it makes it even tougher. Going to be dropping a Soulfire right there, which might do a little bit of friendly fire damage, I think. I can't remember if that does friendly fire. I don't think it does. Yeah, I don't think it does. Okay, so he's totally fine. For a second, I was like, a Vortex right on his own troops, but it was actually just, you know, the Soulfire bombardment. Up in the sky, we do have the Vampire of Death with the Immortal Will being popped, which of course heals him up. just a little bit. White King being run over by Volkmar over and over, and Heinrich Kemmler is being surrounded and basically beaten down by the infantry. Nice summon for sure. Good to buy some more time, but it's pretty much only delaying the inevitable here, as now all these Imperial State troops are going to be going fisticuffs, and yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Definitely some Blood Knights could have been pretty useful for sure to help win the fights against like demis and things like that. A little bit more conservative with the Felbat play. It's a really easy mistake to make when you play vampires, like thinking you need to disrupt those pistoliers right away, but just wait till the fighting's about to happen before you send them in, and wait till you get a commitment coming in from the Demogryph Knights and the other units like that, because they were just too easy to peel off under those circumstances. Heinrich Kemmler tanking to the bitter end with the Cloak of Mist and Shadows, being surrounded by the Sons of Sigmar, just absolutely beaten down here. He does have a couple zombies just being shanked. I feel like this is a lore-friendly situation, right? The Empire, of course, just taking out the evil Necromancer. And here in the distance, the Vampire of Death falls, and that is going to be a 2-0 coming in from Anticity. So very good showcase from both players for sure. But I think the build from Anticity was very well suited to deal with the other, the Vampire Count Mr. Sauce brought. I think Sauce needed something to deal with single entities like Volkmar. Like, he didn't have much to deal with Volkmar either. Like, even had he gotten ahead in that battle, I still think he would have struggled because of Volkmar. So that is going to be a 2-0 there. And now we're going to get our next players up here in today's Scrimmage stream, where players can practice for tournaments in a relaxed environment and have some fun. And let us go ahead and move forward and summon the lads. All right, so looking to practice, tournament stream. All right, one sec, guys. And then, so it's going to be Gok facing off against the Undertaker. Okay, one sec. So we're going to come back to you guys. So we're going to go into the next match of the day, which is going to be, because those guys it takes some people a long time to download the beta. So we're going to be doing Random Nyx versus Falcon. So let's get those guys in if we can. Update the scoreboard. We'll be good to go. So Random Nyx and Falcon, you guys are up. Go back to you guys. What's up, guys? Yes, you are, Falcon. You and Random Nyx are good to go. So let me go ahead and change the nameplates. Just letting folks know in chat. Random Nyx is like, oof, I have to face Falcon. Hey, man, this is where champions are made. And upsets, you know, you gotta take it head on, man. I've seen you do well in the tournaments. I believe in you. But of course, Falcon is like, he's like Sauron. He's like the raid boss for sure. All right, so Falcon is here. You guys can expect some awesome builds, I'm sure. We'll do Alpine Ridge for our first map. And let's go ahead and get Random in here as well. I think he's on my friends list. You never know. I have to like cycle people in my friends list depending on tournaments just to make room. All right, so he is invited as well. Alrighty. See some new people in the Discord as well. Welcome, guys. Good to see you guys. What's up, Raw Cauliflower? Hope you're doing well. Turin, Italy named a town after you. Yes, I heard. Yes, that is correct. Krell's been in 2 battles today. We saw the great job plays bring him also, and then we saw him here as well. So yeah, there's been quite a bit of Krell action. GG's indeed between those last 2 gentlemen. You want to see Falcon's Norska Monster Mash? You know what I want to see is the dreaded Dread Saurian. When it actually is in the name for once. I'm just going to make sure the players aren't having too many issues joining up. It is on a beta, so sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. I'll send them another invite as well. Hopefully CA will be done with these betas. It's really unhealthy for the ladder play and all that as well. Cool, and he's in. So Alpine Ridge. Falcon starts, picks, and bans. Good luck, have fun. Yeah, and it's a good opportunity, right? Newer players or players who are intermediate can face off against players who've been playing a long time, vice versa. Sebastian, thanks, man. Appreciate it, dude. Turn, so next week CA might give some Valentine's Day content along with the patch. Oh, is that actually true? I didn't know that. Are you just making that up, or is that actually like something they said in like a post? I usually don't read the the post too much, so Yeah, the quad bloat, I don't know about that. People don't use Vlad enough for my team. Vlad's actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Vlad. I don't think he's like as competitive as like, the Blood Dragon or Manfred, but he's up there. Like, he can work. What am I hoping for in Warhammer 3? I just want to see fleshed out Chaos, really. Like, I just want to see Chaos get all of its goodies. Okay, so Falcon is going to pick the Empire, and he's banning Dwarves and Rats. Because they don't exist, he says. And now Random Nix has the opportunity to pick. And Falcon's playing the Golden Order. He's playing the Balthazar Gelt sub-faction. So there can be no Carl. It's either going to be Gelt or a General of the Empire. And Random Nix is going to go Beastmen, it looks like, as far as his picks. Yeah. Vlad needs to ride a kangaroo? Why would he ride a kangaroo? I don't think Vlad has any inflections of being Australian, like in terms of his style, his influence, his thematics. Oh no, Bretonia versus Empire. All right, so we got the Golden Order facing off against Bretonia on Alpine Ridge, which is actually pretty good for Bretonia because there's a big line of sight blocking piece of terrain in the middle, which will block cannons from initial impact. So we'll see what he brings. Very excited for this. He's probably good. I mean, Gelt isn't bad by any stretch. Gelt can be really strong, so I think we'll probably see a Gelt pick. Although maybe a General of the Empire or like just something totally out of the blue, like a Hunts Marshal or something. Or Master Huntsman or whatever he's called. You never see those guys. Oh my god, Storm Fiends. I think they'll add Storm Fiends. I think they'll add a lot of the End Times units in Game 3. But I really just want to see Chaos get fleshed out and get like Chaos Demons. Yeah. Well, he cannot bring Boris, Karl, or Volkmar. All of those characters are... If you play certain sub-factions, it limits your choices. So, like, you can't bring those units. You can't. He's playing the Golden Order, which means he can only bring Gelt or the generic characters for the Empire. Random Nix is ready. So we have the Bretonians versus the Empire here in this first match on Alpine Ridge. Oh my god. I hope Falcon brings Gelt plus Illuminarch. That would make me so happy. He's probably listening to the stream too, so I would imagine that he might do something to please you guys. Random Nix is a really good player though. He always gets to like the middle or the top end of my tournaments in the ECL, so we'll see. We will see indeed. The Archlector, yeah, there could be an Archlector. That's certainly a very viable choice. Do you think they will add Nippon? No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll add like Nippon or Ind or like any of those type of factions. You could get like a Southern Realms maybe, like a free LC or something like, I don't know. Like a Vampire Coast type DLC for those guys. That'd be pretty cool. Like the one that Italian Spartacus is playing on his campaign. Like Borgio the Besieger and all that stuff. I think they could do that. Which Chaos God faction would you like to play the most? Nurgle? I generally play Nurgle armies in tabletop. I play Death Guard a lot. I play Nurgle Demons. I have a bunch of Nurglings, so I would like to play them. I kind of like that slow grinding style rather than like just like a fast explosive win. Yeah. It is time. Yeah, Ogre Kingdoms is going to be great. Oh my god, with the Shrek reskinning. Oh my god, guys, it's happening. We do have the dreaded Black Lions, I would imagine. No, not like this. All right, guys, so Falcon... Up in the sky, this is actually pretty good. You bring Gelt, you Plague of Rust the target, and then the Empire Captains can actually do pretty good damage against lightly armored targets, which are nerfed by Balthazar Gelt. So it's actually a pretty strong sniping kit. But you can use it on like King Louis and get in there and do some work for sure. Now on top of that, Empire Knights, Demogryph Knights with halberds, front line of state troops, mostly spearmen with some Sigmar Sons mixed in there. Pistoliers, as well as Pistoliers, and more Empire Knights. So the army's like pretty good. The one thing that he's bringing that's really wild, of course, is the Mortar Wagon. So the Mortar Wagon is probably one of the worst units in the entire game. But we're going to see if Falcon can make it work. So he's got the Mortar Wagon, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Demogryph Knights, Empire Knights to fight against Bretonians, Heavy Cav. I mean, obviously, Gelt's probably... I don't know if I would consider Gelt to be like super optimized in this matchup, but he still has some teeth for sure. Final Transmutation is pretty good for blob fights, and of course the Empire Captains can snipe like damsels. With Plague of Rust, they can take down armored targets. But the Mortar Wagon... We got a Mortar Wagon, guys. Oh my god, look at this! Versus Quad Trebuchet! Oh, baby. Look at this. So we got 4 Trebuchets here, front line of Battle Pilgrims, 2 groups of Peasant Bowmen. In the back, we do also have Questing Knights and the Companions, a Damsel of Beasts, Luin up in the sky. This Both their builds are just so off meta and so strange that I really don't know. It's going to come down to micro. That's it. But is that quad trebuchet? Oh my god. 4 Bretonnian trebuchets. I mean, Falcon's going to have to advance, and his state troops should take a bit of a hammering for sure, because Falcon's front line will lose 100% against Battle Pilgrims. Battle Pilgrims are actually pretty good in combat. They'll be able to beat Spearmen all day. But again, the Pistoliers and the mobility advantage does go to Falcon. He has more cav units. He has the Flying Goon Squad, and he does also have Pistoliers, which, this halberd formation, or this trebuchet formation, excuse me, is very, very tightly packed. So, like, one screw up here from the Bretonnians, and this Treb formation could just get, like, run over. Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I mean, maybe it'll work. Maybe to take down someone like Falcon, you have to bring something so off-kilter and just wild. We'll see how it goes. So Treb's going to be lining up their shots here. Unfortunately, he needs to fly Lewin over here and get line of sight, because he can't see the Spearmen and these other troops. Oh, also, guys, I didn't notice this. So Falcon has gold chevrons on all of his Spearmen, so they might actually be able to, not all of them, but the ones in the front line. So they might actually be able to put up a good fight against the Battle Pilgrims. We'll see how it goes. So Trebuchet is actually shooting in and going after the Pistoliers, which is absolutely hilarious. Shots tearing into those guys, doing some okay damage. In the meantime, Trebuchet's probably going to be switching their shots here. And the mortar wagons, here comes the first mortar wagon shots. Oh, look at that. Oh my god, look at that wagon shot. That was brutal. That was a direct hit. Now that's pretty... odds are the wagon usually misses, but in this case, he is able to get some hurt on those guys. So Trebs are shooting back. So we literally have mortar wagons shooting at Trebuchets. This is too much to handle. So Trebuchet shots still shooting in once again, going after the Spearmen, it looks like, in the front, not making the best contact. Mortar wagon still dropping some hot fire. I wonder who's going to blink first. They're both in a situation where they both have like a ton of artillery, but the Trebuchets are literally just like stormtroopers in Star Wars. They're just not hitting anything. And I think Falcon is content to just sit with his mortar wagon and just shoot. Oh my god, this is just absurd. So the mortar wagon and the Empire Knights do get caught by some Trebuchet fire. It looks like the peasant archers in the back as well take some contact, and it looks like up in the sky, Falcon actually wants his fight. He's getting Balthazar. Guys, the Gelt Goon Squad is coming, look! And King Lewin is running from Balthazar Gelt. Oh my god, and his 2 Empire captains. So it looks like a Manticore summon is going to be going down from the Damsel, and I think Lewin needs to turn and fight. Just go after Gelt. Just do it. Yeah, he's turning around now, and Plague of Rust is going to be overcasted, so his armor is going to be very low at 30. And Foe Seeker pops, all these things pops, and Lewin's fighting back. He does also have the Manticore summon, so the Manticore summon needs to get over here and help, because Lewin is getting gooned out by this. Oh my god, but the Manticore... Oh, I can't see. Oh, Gelt's going down! Gelt's getting worked on! He's in a lot of trouble, guys. So Gelt is going to break and run, which is fine. That's not a big deal, actually, because Lewin's taking a lot of damage, but I think Lewin's going to be able to endure. So I don't know if Falcon's Gambit paid off. It seems like Lewin was able to survive. With Scroll of Shielding plus Lion's Shield. Alright, that's pretty nice to help with final transmutation and whatnot. Peasant Archer's going to be shooting up in the sky as well. Lewin, just an absolute raid boss. And without the Manticore summon, though, Lewin would have for sure lost that. But, yeah, you can see Lewin is able to scatter them to the wind. So certainly, guys, you can see the bounce power is Bretonnian favored. Random Nix looking to get that upset with the countering the Goon Squad here. Of course, the Empire captain's getting pushed back and terrified by the great King Lewin. The issue being, too, is that Lewin also does have regeneration, so the damage that was done, he can heal most of that up if he's capable. Lewin's going to be chasing off the Empire captain, and now the Empire forces are advancing. The mortar wagon's still dropping some hot fire here into the front lines. Battle Pilgrim's going to be taking a little bit of sprayed fire, as are these peasant archers. And yeah, Falcon definitely needs to push the tempo now, because, the Trebuchets are going to outvalue him. They're going to be able to eventually wear these guys down. Empire Knights have taken some substantial casualties, for sure. Look at that. You can see they're getting hammered by the Trebuchets. And I wonder how field Trebuchets would do against, like, excuse me, like Ushapti Grapos or units like that. It's kind of an interesting thing. Like, Goblin Rockclobbers can actually do decent work sometimes. So the Empire forces are advancing. The mortar wagon's still shooting up to a whopping 60 kills. So it hasn't quite paid for itself, because most of it is against peasants. Lewin is chasing off the Empire captain, but it looks like Falcon was able to rally his Empire captains, which is actually really important, because now at least he's going to have his heroic Goon Squad to come in for alpha strikes. Maybe going after the Damsel could have been a better choice, but I guess there was a lot of like companions and elite troops on the ground that could have protected the Damsel. So now Falcon's going to be going for a flank overload. Denbergriff Knights with halberds running in. Oh no, is he going to make a misplay here? It looks like Falcon with a bit of a lapse in his micro here, and the Questing Knights get the charge with some spear support. But Falcon's committing very heavily, and he's still doing well despite that. Maybe it was intentional, I'm not sure. But the Questing Knights here are getting hammered by 2 groups of demis, so just the sheer numbers and brute force of this engagement. Also, the Pistoliers are here as well, which could come in and do some heavy damage against these Questing Knights. So this flank is somewhat being overwhelmed by Falcon's forces, but it looks like the Questing Knights are really having a very cost-effective situation, and it looks like there is going to be some sort of witchcraft. Flock of Doom going down here is going to be slapping into Falcon's forces. Shouldn't do too much damage. So Trebuchets are still shooting, and guys, the Trebuchets are shooting against the Demogryph Knights, and the balance of power is super Bretonnian favored right now. Look at the balance of power. Lewin's coming in. Once again, the Trebuchets are destroying the Demogryph Knights. Look at this. They're being forced back and Trebuchet down. And the Pistoliers are trying their best, but the Peasant Archers are screening them out. Lewin's coming in with that steel chair to finish off those demis. And I think this is pretty much point of no return, guys. It looks like Random Nix is going to be taking the first game. In the back, these Empire Captains, of course, do go after the Field Trebuchets and are able to take some out, but the Companions of Quinellus here are going to be coming in with their anti-large and AP and just wrecking these guys. So it looks like Random Nix is relatively secured in this situation, guys. Yeah, and you can see here the Empire Captains are getting taken out. 224. Companions do have bonus versus large now, and the Empire Captain just gets taken apart by the Companions. In the meantime, we do have King Lewin. He should be able to secure the front lines. And, I mean, is there a shimmer of hope for Falcon here? I mean, if the state troops maybe just cleaved through all of these trebuchets right here, maybe. But I feel like with Lewin alive, it's going to be really, really tough. Falcon, of course, fighting to the bitter end. He does have this Empire Captain coming back in, which, honestly, going after the Damsel would probably be his best bet, I think. Maybe just going there. But, again, the Companions are here. They're nearby. They're going to be able to really protect all this. On top of that, Lewin is going to be going in after the dreaded mortar wagons. And the Sword of Crone is active as well. And it looks like the War Wagon's going to be going down. Really nice plays here by Random Nix. And I think the War Wagon is going to get away ever so slightly. But Lewin's on the hunt. Like Duran, he's after it. Going in there. In the back, Falcon coming in for another countercharge. Going to be going after the trebuchets, which are now unguarded as the Companions ran elsewhere. So he should be able to get some value. I mean, man, if Falcon brought this back, that would be an insane comeback. Like, I don't know. That would be something of legend. I mean, all the trebuchets are being attacked. I think the Companions should be able to methodically sweep through them. But I mean, if the caster goes down here, all the trebs go down as well. Maybe. But I just don't see it. With the Companions being alive, like the Companions of Quinellus plus, you know, King Lewin could probably solo like everything that's left in this army. Like those units alone. Damsel here being attacked by the Empire Captain, but she's got Arcane. She's not going to go quietly. She's going to get punted here by this guy. And the Mortar Wagon still, you know, still going strong. Look at him kiting. Just MLG scoot and shoot going on. Lewin's probably realized it's not worth it to chase the Mortar Wagon, so he's going to be coming back here to try and secure his back line, his kingdom. As the Empire Captain continues to go to town on the Damsel. Damsel's certainly in a losing fight here. Nice Flock of Doom. Going to be going into the Spearmen right there. Trebuchet still shooting in. I cannot believe the quad Trebuchet. That's pretty awesome. Oh, but the Demogryph Knights have come back. Guys, and Falcon's kind of creeping the balance of power back a little bit. The Bretonnians better close this game out before it gets too late. Oh my god. That would be an insane comeback. The Empire Captain, of course, is able to take out the Damsel. That's a start, guys. The Bretonnians are still in a huge state of advantage. But, I mean, it's getting closer and closer. Lewin here, afflicted by Plague of Rust. He does have some Battle Pilgrim support. Where are the Companions? He needs those guys to be like fighting with Lewin. Oh, man. And the Empire is able to secure all the Trebuchet lines, basically just running everything over. But yeah, I think ignoring these state troops is probably the best bet for now and pulling the Companions in to try and win these blob fights. Guys, Falcon's so scrappy. Up in the sky here, you can see Balthazar Gelt charging his Winds of Magic, maybe looking for one more final transmutation. But the Demogryph Knights are forced back by King Lewin. He is able to get some huge value right there. These ones have 8 models. These guys have 9. And now Lewin's back up in the sky. He is 100 speed. Balthazar Gelt's 111 right now, so Gelt is a little bit faster on his Pegasus. So Lewin doesn't really have the option of chasing him down. In the back, all the Trebuchet crews are pretty much offline. But I think Lewin's going to come over here and just try and get some terror routes. At which point that will probably trigger army losses. The Mortar Wagon's still running for the hills. Companions are on the hunt. They're sick of the shit. Like, we're coming for you. And Lewin's just going to be flying around, kind of securing his lines and trying to make sure he can break off the remnants of these Empire State troops. So here comes the Mortar Wagons. Unfortunately, they don't have any blunderbusses to shoot at these Questing Knights that are hot on their tail. 75 speed against 50. Tired versus winded. I'm surprised they're not more exhausted, actually, after this battle. And now that should be the doom here of the Mortar Wagons. I don't think they're going to be able to get away from them. So the Questing Knights doing their job. Lewin, in the meantime, helping to finish off the Demogryph Knights. Looks like an Empire Captain coming in, maybe thinking about a gooning attempt, but the Empire has suddenly taken control over all the trebuchets. Wouldn't it be funny if like these spearmen could start manning the trebs? And I think that's going to be army losses there. And guys, Random Nix and his quad trebuchet build, so the two memes going to war. But the quad trebuchets were too much to handle, it would appear. And that is going to be game 1 for Random Nix in this best of 3. There are a couple unbreakable troops here, the Sigmar Sons. GG. He says rocks lobbed over such distances. Oh man, that was a wild game, guys. That was a wild one. But you know, the quad trebs actually did a ton of damage against the cav units. That was really cool. Man, what a game. All right, guys. So let's update the scorecard here. That's going to be 1-0 here. And I assume now both players probably going to bring more serious builds. Although, you know, maybe there's something to be learned from that, right? Maybe there's something to be learned that there is some teeth in the dreaded quad trebuchet. Quad boucher. I know. All right, so next map we're going to be doing the Northern Chaos Waste. So we'll do Oak and Hammer. Falcon says, my mortars did well enough. Yeah, they kind of countered my stuff. Yeah, the mortars actually did pretty well. They killed a lot of archers. We're on Oak and Hammer next, so we'll see what the players pick and ban this time. I would imagine Falcon will go to like Lizards or Dark Elves or something like that. That's true, Jacksaw. That is very true. That was a really fun game. Oh my god. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Oh, that was great. Just the 4 trebuchets. The new meta is born, says Duke Baragas. Oh man, the flying rocks. All right, so let's see what they do here. They're still talking about how great the trebuchet is. All right, so Random Nix is going to go. I'll go with those who don't exist. So he's going with Skaven, and he's banning Beastmen, and he gets 2 bans. And Norska. Ah, Falcon's like, well, you banned. He's trying to get him to ban Dwarves, which Skaven already hard counter. So I would imagine here Falcon's probably going to go for Dark Elves or Lizardmen. Maybe we'll see like a Wild Nakai build out of him. Who knows? Going to go to a comfort pick here. Usually when you're down, you want to go to a comfort pick in these tournaments. Well, this is a tournament practice stream, but yeah, we'll see. I'm curious what he'll pick. Curious what schemes are afoot. Tomb Kings. Yeah, Tomb Kings are pretty strong. Tomb Kings are a top tier faction. You know, even the meme units on the Tomb Kings, like, you know, the Bone Giant used to be kind of a meme thing. Like, in the Casket, they're both, like, good now. So, like, there really aren't too many memes for the Tomb Kings, aside from bringing, like, Khalida or things like that. So, yeah, we'll see what they bring. So we are on Oak and Hammer, open field, so both factions have the opportunity for artillery pieces. Can we get a faction that has black coaches, bloated corpses, and wagons? Oh my god, that would be too much. You know, honestly, it wouldn't be hard to mod, though. You could mod, like... You could mod a faction and just call them, like, the, the Kingdom of Haggardness and just give them all those units. Quad bloats for 3 caskets. Oh, man. Yeah, Lich 109, you're correct. The buffs to explosion damage did certainly help out things like mortars. And thank you guys so much for joining today. I know it's a bit of an odd hour stream, but Spartacus was streaming in the morning, and I didn't want to stream at the same time there. And we're doing it. It's weird. I've been getting so many emails lately from just these like super shady like companies trying to like from like Gmail addresses, like just trying to like do sponsored stuff on my channel. And I think that's how a lot of people, you remember how there was kind of that wave of people getting their channel stolen? I think a lot of it had to do with that kind of stuff. All right. Great. Quad Screaming Skull Catapult? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I have the coolest build versus Ratman ever, says Falcon. So we shall see. We shall indeed. See what Random Nix has in store here. And of course, after this, we have several more best of 3s, so make sure to stay tuned for that, guys. It's going to be a good day. This is the 3rd of 6, so we're going to have 6 in total. I believe we're about an hour and a half into the stream. Let me go ahead and take a look. Maybe just an hour. Yeah, about an hour and a half, give or take. Do you think they're going to use AOS models for Demon Lords? No, I think they're going to use the fantasy ones. I mean, but honestly, like, if you look at like how Croc scores are in Total War Warhammer versus how they were in like Tabletop, I think they're just going to like redesign them and like update them and make them look nice. Like obviously inspired by some of the Tabletop models. But yeah, like I think the Great Unclean one is going to look very similar to, you know, what it looks like in Tabletop now. Because the Great Unclean one in Chaos Demons, which it can be used in both 40k and Fantasy, is like, it's pretty much the same model as it was, I think, at the end of 8th edition. Oh my god, if you guys look back though at like the old Chaos Demons models from like the first Bloodthirster that's like the size of a Space Marine, like it's so haggard, those old models. Oh my god. So guys, we have Skaven facing off against Tomb Kings. Random Nix currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 here against Falcon. We'll See what he brings to the table. Really surprising us with the quad trebuchet build against the Empire, and it works pretty well, actually. I mean, yes, Falcon brought some meme elements to his army, but it still was relatively functional and did some good damage against those cav units, which I'm quite impressed about. So we'll see. Falcon, of course, going to be going with Tomb Kings. I'm excited to see his rat build. My build against the rats with the Tomb Kings is actually using 2 Bone Giants. I think it's very strong. So I think we'll see something along those lines. But it looks like Falcon has more of a traditional build. So this is more like normal. You usually see like a construct rush with a ton of Nehekara horsemen, as well as some skeleton horsemen archers against like ogres and helpets. So good build for sure. So for Falcon, he's got in the front line, it's going to be skeleton warriors and no tomb guard. A bunch of Nehekara warriors just to swarm, because the Skaven don't really have too many tools that can contest against Nehekara warriors. I mean, ogres can do okay, but even that's not terribly cost effective. So 4 Nehekara horsemen, looks like a bunch of skeleton archers. Cetra on the Chariot of the Gods is probably the only thing here that's a little bit unorthodox, but it's still not bad. Chariots can do work against Skaven for sure, and he's pretty good at running over Skaven lords like Skrolk and things like that because they are foot-sized. We got Khemrian War Sphinx and another Khemrian War Sphinx, so pretty solid rush for sure. I think this build is pretty competitive. So let's go ahead and take a look at the forces of Random Nyx and his Skaven. So this is the risky thing. Falcon went with like a bum rush that's designed to counter gun lines, and Random Nyx has like a huge gun line. So he's got 2 Warplock Jezzails, 2 of the Poison Wind Mortars, which are going to be pretty much useless based on Falcon's army. Also on top of that, he does have a bunch of Skaven Slaves, Clan Rats, and a Gracier on a Bell, which is a good choice. Rat Ogres, but yeah, and I mean, Ixchia's Triads as well. Be really nice for helping against those large threats. But I have a feeling this army is just going to get absolutely run over by the Tomb Kings, just based on what I see. 4 is a lot to protect for Skaven, especially when a lot of those units can push through your defensive rats. Probably, if you're going to go for something like this, I would honestly probably just cut the mortars, and then from there get like a Helpet Abomination or more Rat Ogres to try and hold back the Chariot. Like, honestly, the best way to play against Tomb Kings, in my experience, against with the rats, is just to have like a defensive box with the Council Guard and all that kind of stuff. This is going to be really hard. If he wins this, I'll be super impressed. Gutter Runners with Poison are helpful. Of course, getting the slowing attacks on the Chariots, but this is going to be a lot to protect. Kyle Lynch, glad you enjoyed the videos, man. Glad you enjoyed the videos. All right, guys, now the battle's underway. Falcon with his classic XMT formation. That's his clan he's in, the Extreme Meme Team, as it stands for. Representing his people with pride. In the distance here, we do have the Khemrian War Sphinx. I feel like they could be like, I don't know, how could you mix them into the lettering? You could put like a Sphinx on each end of the T if you really want to, but he'll be able to get those forces going pretty quickly here. I don't think he's in range of the mortars either, so he should be A-okay in that respect. Yes, guys, it is time. The battle's underway. The legions of Nehekara, led by Cetra the Imperishable atop his chariot, come to do battle against the foul Skaven hordes. So here we go. Here we go indeed. And it looks like these Skaven are going to be turning their sights. Their Warplock Jezzails going to be lining up their little rat eyes here to shoot against these Skeleton Horsemen archers. And yeah, it's going to be really hard to protect all this, guys. That's what I'm telling you. Like, when you're playing against factions with really good blitzing potential, whether it be like Beastmen or Tomb Kings or even Chaos sometimes, like usually bringing like more than 2 missile pieces, unless there's really nice synergy, is going to be really, really hard. But again, Random Nyx, obviously a very good player, certainly up to the task. And we'll see if Falcon's Blitz is able to crush through the ranks. Is he actually moving forward in the XMT formation? It looks like he is. Oh my god, look. He's moving forward here with this in the X formation, but it's not going to matter. In just a moment, he's probably going to scatter to the winds and go into his... Yeah, and now you can see he's moving out of the formation, I think. Oh my god. Because if he stays blobbed like this and the Poison Wind Mortars make some good contact here, he could lose the game. He better be very careful with this. He better be very, very careful. All right, so mortars are now in range. They're going to start firing in a moment. And I assume as soon as that happens, Falcon will scatter to the wind. You can see here the Chariot of the Gods and all these guys moving forward now. And now the forces of Nehekara charge on. So we do have the Jezzail shooting. Going to be going after some of the Skeleton Horsemen archers, which is okay. I would imagine, though, they'll start shooting at like Cetra or these Sphinxes or things like that. The one weakness of the Skaven army as well, or another weakness, is the fact that they don't have too many tools against the big single entities. But the Jezzails, of course, are very good against that. But things that can like stop them, like with mass, is the big problem. So Skeleton Archers are pushing forward. Cetra going to be running through some rats on his Chariot of the Gods. Didn't kill any, though, interestingly enough. And now he's going to be penetrating into the back line, just trying his best to get here. But there are some elite units back here. The Ixchia's Triads and Ogres could do some work. Look at that. Nice summon right there by Random Nyx. Look at that. So he summons the Ixchia's Triads and blocks the charge of Cetra. That was a really nice play by Random Nyx right there. Now, in the meantime, the Nehekar Horsemen still just collapsing on the Skaven formation across the board. We do have the big single entities charging in there as well. So here comes the Khemrian War Sphinx. Cetra, of course, probably going to be dropping the Wrath of Petra, and the dreaded 13th spell is used! So he summons Storm Vermin with halberds. That's very exciting stuff. Now, as far as the Skaven gun line goes, it's still in okay shape. He still does have his 2 Jezzails firing, which is the most important thing, but Cetra is able to push through here, and I would imagine he's going to be going back here to shut down the Warplock Jezzails. So here he comes, shutting down the Jezzails, Nehekar Horsemen as well, swarming into the back line, so the Skaven gun line is now relatively compromised. Of course, the Skaven are ahead in the balance of power initially, as it always will be the case when you're on the approach, but once you get in here, this is where the Tomb Kings potentially come back. But I have to say, Random Nyx is doing a really, really good job actually stabilizing here. In the back, we have a couple Skeleton Horsemen Archers, which I would assume are going to be shooting against some Rat Ogres. Khemrian War Sphinx is in pretty good shape as well, and the Skaven are now engaged against Skeleton Warriors pretty much across the entire front line. Cetra the Imperishable just riding back and forth between the Warplock Jezzails, trying to get away from the Ixchaz Triads, I would imagine, and the Khemrian War Sphinx is probably just going to be going balls deep and attacking these Warplock Jezzails right now as well. Yeah, this is going to be good as well. Here on the flank, these Rat Ogres might actually go down against the Sphinx and get chased off by the Skeleton Horsemen, but hard to say. So here you can see the Tomb Kings just going pretty much all in, trying to shut down the Jezzails. A Skeleton Horseman Archer fire from the far side as well, trying to help out. And the mortars are very interesting. I mean, they're up to 60 kills. That's really not bad. It seems like they're doing some... Oh my goodness, look at the damage those mortars are doing here. So man, I have not tried mortars out in this matchup against some of the more mobile elements like Nehekar Horsemen, but maybe bringing one mortar might actually have some teeth. Anyways, here, mortars are going to meet their doom. Skeleton Warriors and a Horseman collapsing from pretty much every angle. And the single entities are going to be an issue, like I said. Cetra might go down, but then you still have to deal with 2 Khemrian War Sphinxes, which is quite scary. Jezzails are getting chased off here, and I do not think Felcon is going to let these guys survive. I think he's going to be able to, adequately chase these guys off and make sure they don't come back. As far as the Skaven army, it's a bunch of clan rats mostly. In the distance, we have more clan rats coming back. Ixchaz Triads still doing their best to fight against the Khemrian War Sphinx, and of course the Grey Seer is unfortunately stuck in mortal combat here against the Khemrian War Sphinx, which probably will win that fight. Khemrian War Sphinx just has much better combat stats, and the Grey Seer on the bell is pretty much like a chariot type unit. It's not really something that can fight too well in mortal combat. So all the Jezzails are pretty much gone now. Rat Ogre's going to get chased off the battlefield as well, which is the usual issue here. And the Skaven are going to be able to, have a bit of a last stand here with some Ogres and Summons and the Grey Seer and whatnot, but like with the Khemrian War Sphinxes and Cetra just kind of like cleaning up all the chaff around the battlefield and the terror routes, I don't think there's any way the Skaven can really win this at this point. Even though the balance is even, you just have to objectively look at what's left on the battlefield. There's some clan rats with spears, I guess, but yeah, like all the missile pieces, the things that can kill Cetra and the Sphinxes are basically off the battlefield. Granted, this could be really nice. The dreaded 13th spell, no, it's actually going to be clan rats. Probably didn't have the Winds of Magic for the other version there. Ogre's getting chased off here. The other Sphinx is actually quite low. I mean, maybe the Skaven still have a chance here. If they can kill that Sphinx and Cetra, and yeah, maybe. But, I mean, there's still so many Nehekar Horsemen, so every time some of these Skaven break, they're kind of getting chased off the battlefield here, which is a little bit scary. So here comes the Khemrian War Sphinx. He is buffed up by the Djaf's Incantation. Wrath of Petra going down here in the distance, but Cetra's kind of in the danger zone. He's being poked here by the Gutter Runners, and also some of the Ixchaz Triads with their anti-large are getting some really good damage. He's down to about 900 HP, guys. Look at that. Really good stuff here. I love these plays by Random Nyx. He's able to summon the clones to break the charge of Cetra. That's a really, really nice play. Yeah, he still gets the charge in there for the most part, but yeah, you can see the Grey Seers running for the hills. The big old Sphinxes were able to chase him off. But I have to say, I thought that battle would be a lot more one-sided. I thought based on the Tomb Kings build, they would be able to run things over, but Random Nyx put up a really good fight. At this point, I think it's pretty much over. With the Grey Seer going down, I just don't think there's anything that can kill these Sphinxes. They're just, yeah, they've taken some damage, but they're still super meaty at this point, and they're going to be able to chase off pretty much everything here. So guys, we're going to be going to a rubber match, it looks like, as the balance of power does ebb more and more into the favor of the Tomb Kings here in this matchup, as the Rat Boys, are trying their hardest here. Trying their hardest indeed. Yeah, we'll see what he brings. Probably going to be a Dark Hill pick, perhaps, from Felcon. I don't know what Random Nyx likes to main, but that is going to be the game for the Tomb Kings. And that is a hard matchup. Cats are too strong. Recently we bought a cat, and he is so cute. Says Random Nyx. He just randomly says, like, we just bought a cat, and he's so cute. Yeah. GG indeed. Skaven were broken on release because of the summon bugs and warp lightning cannons with laser accuracy. Yeah, there's been quite a few nerfs to Skaven for sure, but they're still top tier in my opinion. All right, guys, so Felcon's going to even up the series 1-1 here, and now it is the final showdown between these two fine players. So let's see what's going on. So for the next map, we will do Rip Ramixon. So Felcon's going to go Norska, one of his main factions. He's a very good Norscan player. And he has his ban, so he has the, since it's a rubber match, they both basically pick and ban and pick and ban, so there's only a single ban here. I'm not mistaken. We'll see what they do. In the meantime, I'm going to hang out with you guys in chat. Hopefully you guys are getting some inspiration for builds and different things like that from these games. Getting to learn some of the play styles. Yeah, summoning the clones was really cool, for sure. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a really good game, actually. It ended up being pretty close. And 1 second, guys. And let's take a look and see who's next after this. Oh man, 1 sec, guys. I'm scrolling back up here. So we had Dob plays versus Hadri's. We had Anticity versus Aneurysm Sauce. We have Random Nicks versus Falcon right now. Then we have Undertaker against Gok, and then Zyphos versus Rame to close things out if they're of course still interested. I know it's been running a little bit late. Falcon, there's a very strong build. So Falcon says there's a very... Oh, it keeps getting pushed down when he types. Oh, well, I'll check it later. Greenskins against Norska, so probably going to be a Dakilan, I would imagine. Yeah. And he cannot play... He wanted to play Bretonia against the Norskins, but he's going to have to go with Greenskins here, it looks like. Attack of the Clones, yeah, I know. Yeah, the Mortars actually didn't do bad. I think having one Mortar wouldn't be bad necessarily. Because Tomb Kings usually blob up in that matchup. For sure. Start when ready. There's a very strong build as Tomb Kings for Norska. And Falcon says he will show it to him later. Good sportsmanship all around from these players. The Dawi campaign is basically over. There's literally like 2 turns left. But I mean, if I do another stream of it, the problem is it'll be over in like 15 minutes. So I'm trying to decide how to finish it. Maybe I'll just do like a recorded episode. Lich 109 says there can't be a rubber match without Skin Wolves. That is a very apt and accurate statement. The premier condom brand of the old world. Skin Wolves. Feel the fury. I don't know. You could think of so many good taglines for that. So River Amixon does have some tree lines to hide in, but for the most part, I think Random Nicks probably will go for a huge Daka line. Granted, seeing his builds, I mean, he brought the dreaded Quad Trebuchet and did really well, so maybe he'll do something different. Who knows? Maybe we'll see 4 Rock Lobbers, right? I mean, that's not that big of an investment. Yeah. An all-range Vampire Coast build is pretty good against Skaven. Yeah, it's not bad, for sure. Against when I play Vampire Coast against Skaven, I typically bring like 2 cannons at least. They're really good against Skaven. Oh, River Amixon, it is! The battle is here. Are you supposed to fight against Archeon in the Norska campaign? It's up to you. You have the choice to side with Archeon to end the world, or to fight him to claim dominance as the superior Chaos character. So yeah, it's up to you. In my campaign, I joined with Archeon because I didn't feel like fighting for another like 100 turns. But, you know, if you're looking for that long experience, you should probably fight Archeon. But if you want to win quicker, just join with him. Yeah, we'll see. I know, now you guys are going to be jumping into ladder, and everyone's going to have 4 trebuchets and a mortar wagon. Yep, this is a classic Falcon build. Reminds me of the early days when I first met him, and he brought a ton of these big scary frostworms. So Wolfric with Hunter of Champions for a slow. Double frostworm with Frostbite and Chilling Aura. Man, you can goon the hell out of things with these frostworms. Plus frostworms also have breath attacks and are pretty good in combat to boot. So really, really good gooning potential in this army. For the Skirmishing Corps, he's got 4 groups of Marauder Horsemen. A couple of groups of... Oh man, look at this. So for his main line, he has almost nothing. He has like Marauders mixed in with Marauder Hunters with the throwing axes. A very avant-garde build here from Falcon. He does also have a Familiar Balefiend with Shadows for Pendulum and Enfeebling Foe. And Marauder Hunters. Man, really cool build for sure. So let's take a look here at the Greenskins. So front line's going to be Biggins and Black Work. So very elite front line. Very heavy metal to say the least. Doom Diver Catapults. I actually like having one. I think it's kind of a cool tool to shoot at Marauder Horsemen and Skirmishers and things like that. Warzog is his bacon's going to get cooked potentially by the Frostworm Goon Squad. But we'll see if he can survive with his Effigy of the Git. And a fair amount of archers. We do have 2 Orc Airboys. Some Goblin... Forest Goblin Spider Riders, it looks like, and then Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, including the Morgub's Magi Marauders and the Death Creepers. So he does have a bit of a Daka line. He's got 4 Archers, which is pretty good stuff. Yeah, good answers against the worms and things like that. It's really just going to come down to micro and control, target priority, and the engagement. So good armies by both players. I dig it. Warzog, you know, he's going to be squealing on that hog. He's got to run from those dragons. It's certainly going to be a very scary situation. All right. Oh yeah, Falcon has great sportsmanship, absolutely. Jacksaw, did that actually happen? That's pretty funny. That's really funny. Oh man. All right, guys, the battle's underway. Sorry, I was just reading a message from my 40k league. And now, the Norskins are going to be taken to the tree line. A Doomdiver Catapult, it's kind of hard to see it unless you really get nice and close here, but the Doomdiver Catapult is now firing. It could also shoot at the dragons. You know, Frostworms only have 70 armor, so, I mean, you can get some good, good money shots right there on those guys. So here comes the Doomdiver Catapults. Looks like he's taking a bit of a drift here for a second, and going into the tree line, and he's going after the Marauder Horseman. So, no contact, though. That poor goblin ran into a tree, so good play by Falcon running into the tree line here. In the meantime, we have the Marauders and other troops coming forward. Really nice missile attack from Wurzog. The Gaze of Mork doing some huge damage against the Frostworm. I mean, that's very cost effective. And now the Doomdiver's going after the worm as well. And look at that, Doomdiver Catapults. Who would have thought they'd be a great answer here against dragons? Launching goblins at dragons, very, very meta stuff. Now here, Random Nix needs to be very careful to make sure that Falcon doesn't get good down the line breath attacks. And you can see Falcon keeps moving the Frostworm here because he's trying to get that juicy breath attack on the Black Orcs, I would imagine, or the Archers. So he's going after the Archers. It looks like the Archers are going to take the brunt of that. It's going to hurt, but they're still mostly functional. A nice effigy of the Gip, able to lock down Falcon's Wolfric. So Wolfric is getting pounded by Archer play right now, which is definitely very, very punishing. And here we have Spider Riders trying to contain the flank. So Spider Riders going to be surging in waves to try and force back the Marauder Horsemen, but a very rough initial start. Granted, a Seafang was able to finish off the Rusty Arrows, or Pendulum. It could have been one of the others. But yeah, Wolfric's taking a ton of damage. Really nice Scroll of Shielding is going to be, preventing him from basically just getting taken to the point of no return. And the Orc Archers have taken some casualties here. Falcon is able to push in and do some great work here. Oh man, and it looks like another Pendulum coming down. Pendulum going in, but did okay damage. It mostly hit goblins. It looks like Random Nix was able to dodge that for the most part. Now the Greenskin Daka proving to be very, very strong here. Of course, pushing back Wolfric, doing some decent damage against the worms, but the Pendulums and the Seafang play have been really good. Seafang was able to just single-handedly kill the Rusty Arrows. The Pendulum was able to do some really good damage against the flank here, and it is a very, very hotly contested battle. Black Orcs are pushing forward, but Falcon's actually kiting back with Marauder Hunters and getting some really good crossfire damage, so cool play indeed. I mean, you definitely don't see this playstyle terribly often. Wolfric is good to be taking some pot shots. Bounce Power is pretty much dead even as the Doomdiver Catapult continues to shoot in, and it looks like all elements are now going after Wolfric, who's at about 4,000 HP, so he's still pretty tanky at this point in the battle. Brainbuster going down, which actually didn't do like much of any damage to those guys. Maybe that's like a bug or something, but that didn't do anything. And the Orc Error line, as it's actually called, is still in good shape, but one more Seafang or one more really good Pendulum could actually really hurt these guys quite a bit. And it looks like Falcon is just kind of constantly rotating away from the strength of the Greenskin army and trying to get into the back line, trying to compromise the Archer position. And this is where Random Nix could potentially throw the game. If Wurzog gets caught and frostbitten and just taken out by like a Hunter of Champions and a Frostworm play, that could be game blouses. So Hunter of Champions is active right here. Wurzog is very, very low. The Balefiend gets in and does some huge damage. The Greenskins need some support over here. They're getting swarmed pretty hard here by the Marauder Horsemen. But the Frostworm is forced back at least. But man, this Balefiend alone is soloing Wurzog and doing a ton of damage. And now Falcon is going in for the Death Thrust. Oh, look at that Seafang. Brutal stuff going down the Orc Arrow line, doing so much damage. And then the Frostworm with the Steel Chair coming in and finishing off those Orc Arrow boys. That was a nasty timing. And you can see how the bounce power went from even to like massively Norskin favored with two really good timing strikes, and that's pretty much game. The Doomdiver Catapult's going to go down, Wurzog is gone, the Dragons will be able to finish off the Black Orcs with Wolfric, and there's nothing the Greenskins can do at this point. But man, it was a really well played game. It was actually very, very close. Some of the initial pressure from the Greenskins was quite nice, but Falcon, of course, remaining calm, rotating around the flank, and then coming into the back line with that huge alpha strike and gooning Wurzog was the straw that broke the Greenskins' back. Man, that was intense. That was an intense one. Very, very good stuff indeed. Pendulum going down here against the Black Orcs. Black Orcs going to be going down, and that is game. So Falcon wins the series 2-1. A very nice series between these two players. Very well played to Random Nix and Falcon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that showcase. And now we're going to be jumping over to our next best of 3 of the day, which we'll have for you guys in just a moment. I know, Seafang's really good. It's really, really good. The big plays indeed. Yeah, Random's build was great. I actually really liked the Doomdiver pick. I think that was quite cool. Orc Arrow lines are so good, but yeah, if you're worried about Archer lines, whether it be like High Elves or Greenskins, when you're playing as Norska, you bring either Burning Head and Seafang or Pendulum and Seafang, and it's super effective, especially in conjunction with breath attacks. Yeah, the Throwing Axe Kite was also pretty nice. It took away a lot of the value from the front line there. Boom. So 2-1 victory for Falcon. GG, well played. No elephants went down today. All right, so let's go ahead and make room in the lobby. And now we have our next two gentlemen here. It's going to be Undertaker. Of course, he is a dwarf in main. Undertaker. And we'll get these guys in. So Gok mentioned he's relatively new to multiplayer. He has been playing ladder. Very excited to see how he does. And he's going to be facing off against the dreaded Undertaker, who's one of the better dwarf players out there. So I'm sure we'll see some Dowie here in this match. So Undertaker always has he goes by Grombrindle, I think. And as far as the map goes, we'll do the Runes of Paravon. Nah, I don't like that map. Wow, that was extremely quick. They literally just both joined at the same time. We'll do Sword of Torgal. Alrighty. And let's go ahead and update these scorecards here. So go picks and bans first. Good luck, have fun. And we're going to go ahead and update the cards. Let's do this. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I know it's more of a casual stream, but it's always a good time to hang out. Grombrindle. And let's update the cards, the scores. We'll be all set. So grab your popcorn, prepare. We have 2 more best of 3s, this one and 1 more after this. And that'll be today's stream. All good. All right, so it looks like they may have already pre-arranged their matchups, which is totally fine. So Goku's going to pick Norska, and he's going to ban Dark Elves, and you get 2 bans. So he gets 2 bans here, so he's going to ban Dark Elves, which is good. You know, Dark Elves certainly have some tools, and always banning out Scourge Hunter Chariots is a good choice. What's up, Gojira? Hope you're doing well, man. I know we didn't get any Skinwolf brand that last game. Skinwolves against Greenskins are actually pretty good, too. I think having them is nice, but Falcon's build is really good. I mean, obviously he knows Norska better than I do. So it looks like he's checking. Was checking some stuff. What's the second man? Tomb Kings. Okay. And I assume Grombrindle's just going to pick dwarves. he's just sitting there on the dwarf. So we're going to get dwarves versus Norska. Hopefully, Gok, be prepared for the dreaded gyrocopters. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. He is going Norska. So your pick, Grombrindle. And we are on the Sword of Torgal, which is actually a Norskin quest battle map, so perhaps Wolfric will be the apt choice here. Oh no, are the Slanesh bots raiding? All right, guys, I'll be back in 1 second. Gonna grab some water, and in the meantime, players will pick their armies and hang tight, enjoy yourselves. All right, guys, I return. Players are picking. Let's make sure they don't have any questions. And oh man, some friendly trash talk going on. This is good. I like it. I like it indeed. All right, 1 sec, guys. I'm playtesting my new 40K terrain. Okay, man. Alrighty. 1 sec, guys. So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to be doing a video on this, but I'll give you guys a bit of a teaser while we're here. Just coordinating something for later today to my buddy who's coming to help me playtest. So I will, of course, be putting up 40K battle reports very soon. But also, my stepdad and I are developing a line of 40K terrain. So this can be for Age of Sigmar or for, Warhammer Fantasy. But the set we're designing right now is like a kind of a ruined chaos city. So we're designing a very cost-effective terrain set. So, for example, if you go to play 40K and you want to buy terrain for your table and fully kit it out in conjunction with like a fair line of sight blocking table, it's going to cost probably like, I would imagine, over $100, if not more. So we're trying to develop a very economic set. It's not as durable, of course, because it's a little bit cheaper, but basically a full terrain set for like $30 or $40, including like 2 huge buildings, 4 towers, supply crates and everything like that. And so we're working on that right now. So I'm not sure if we're going to sell it. We're like doing it at least for my channel for now. But if people express interest in it, perhaps we'll, set up a website and everything. So yeah, be curious to hear what you guys think. Again, I'll be putting up a video on showing you guys everything. Lady Turin and I have to decorate it first. So basically, it's the terrain is made out of like a corrugated hardened I wouldn't say paper, but it's like a corrugated material. So like when you go to the movie theaters and see like standees, like those big kind of like standees for like Star Wars and things like that, it's made of that same material. So it's pretty sturdy for sure. But of course, like, it will eventually wear down more so than other terrain would, but it's much cheaper also. So it has a much easier entry barrier. Like you can kit out a whole table probably for like 30, 40 bucks. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, Random Nix, you played some great games. So today's stream, for anyone joining, it's basically just a practice stream. So we're getting players who've some tournament veterans, some newer players who want to get practice for tournaments, and it's an opportunity for people to practice like tournament style, best of threes with picks and bans from my tournament Discord. So it's basically just a practice stream, so people can try experimental builds that won't necessarily get them eliminated from a tournament, things like that. Yeah, no, my terrain has no Games Workshop imagery on it. It's just literally terrain. It's like buildings. So there's no issue with that. And people can paint or put whatever they want on it with stencils. Yeah, it's pretty cost effective for sure. And it's like it's really easy to assemble it. You don't need any glue or anything. Like, granted, you can to make it a little bit more durable, but like it's really easy. So it's pretty awesome. My stepdad, who's basically raised me since I was 8 years old, so he's my dad, I should say. But he works in an industry that basically creates all that like big advertising displays for like movies and things like that. So he has a lot of knowledge for that, like engineering and like doing really cool design work. And yeah, it's neat. But yeah, you guys will see this in my first battle report. It will be the terrain we're using on the table. So I have a lot of neat stuff. I'm very excited, guys. Very excited. All right. So now for the battle. This is the best of 3 between Gok. And he's going to be facing off against Grombrindle, a.k.a. the Undertaker, who, of course, loves his Dowie. Oh, yes, the classic Dowie box. Is he doing it? You know what would be really interesting? And I've never seen it before, would be a double Dowie box. So think you have a box here and a box here. So like a 2-layered box. Like if one side gets compromised, you can fall back to the other side. Huh. I just thought of that. It probably wouldn't be good, but something to think about. So for the forces of Norska, we got Marauders into the Sunset, Berserkers in the secondary. So my one concern with this Norscan army, and also if there are newer players playing, I'm going to take it as an opportunity to potentially give my feedback based on the builds and things like that. This army does not have a lot of armor-piercing options. Berserkers will do okay against like Miners and Dwarf Warriors and things like that, but if they face Longbeards, they're going to struggle. He has some AP in the form of throwing axes, some skin wolves in the back, the premier condom brand of the old world. Wolfric as well is a decent choice. Sunfang is, or Seafang is always really good, and Femur Balefiend is a good choice. So there are a couple good units for sure, but I think he's really going to struggle against the armor of the dwarves, but we'll see how it goes. Over here in the forest, he does also have a vanguard of Marauder Horsemen to play against Gyrocopters. And now for the forces of Grombrindle, I have no idea what's happening here. This is like some next level geometry. So Longbeards, Miners up in the sky. We do also have a Gyrocopter with Brimstone guns. 2 Thunders as well, and an Organ gun in the back with Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, and a couple of Slayers backing things up. I mean, Norska could do okay here. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble against that armor, though. Yeah. What's wrong with my Facebook? Misha? Oh, are my Facebook notifications going off? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn those off. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I was messaging my friend to schedule my game for later, so my apologies for that. Anyways, here, the dwarves, what? Oh, is he doing his clan? Oh, that explains it. His clan is Corvus Legio, I think, so he's got the CL. All right, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Sorry about the notifications, guys. My apologies. So here in the back, it looks like Norska lurking in the wings. Gok does have his Norskan Warhounds, or Goku, and he has the Beast of Tashnar as well. Looking for an opportunity, and he might be able to weave in through here. Oh, look at this. He goes in the line formation, and he's going to be trying to sneak in. I love this play here. Now, despite his army maybe not having the best tools against dwarves, if he can make plays like this... Oh, man, and Gromriddle did not see that coming. And he attacks these Slayers with the dogs to distract them while he goes after the very expensive organ gun. I love it. So great initial play for sure. Granted, I think the dwarves are going to be able to react quick enough to stop this. But, yeah, it looks like Flash Bomb going down as well. And the dogs are trying to get onto the gun line. Organ gun and the Thunders are currently shut down. Man, that is something for sure. So the dogs are pushed back, but they'll probably come back later. The organ gun is back online now, but the Norskans have made a pretty good approach. But again, I think the big issue for this Norskan army is going to be its lack of AP. If you're going to go for a Marauder front line, he brought Marauder champions, actually, which are very durable. They'll actually put up a very grindy long fight against Longbeards. I'm not sure who would win that, but probably the champions. Hard to say. But it's you need to have some compensation with AP, whether it be like Famir or Chariots or other things like that that can actually do some heavy damage, because against this Dwarven formation, it's going to be pretty tough to grind these guys down. Now, the dogs have been pushed back, but if Goku is ready, he can get the dogs and maybe, swerve back and in. The Skin Wolves have collapsed on the flanks, but they were easily fended off here by the Longbeards with a little bit of a Thunder Fire. Seafang going down right there. It does drift right through the miners with blasting charges and do some okay damage, as there are some Skin Wolves fighting in there as well. But the Gyrocopter is providing some nice anti-large fire up here from the sky and is quite comfortable in its position. So these Berserkers need to be sent in for sure. Marauders are going to be charging in as well to attack those Longbeards. And oh, that was a good pendulum right there. It went through the Slayers a little bit off kilter. Like, had that pendulum been a little bit more kind of down the line of those Thunders, that could have been a pretty devastating one, to say the least. Now in the back here, the Beasts of Tashnar are attacking the Slayers, or Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, which is not a good situation for them. They should probably pull back from that engagement if they can. I don't think there's anything else in the forest really of note. Maybe some Skin Wolves that are healing. Valspire is still actually pretty even. I'm really surprised it's so even right now. Here in the back, the Gyrocopter with the Brimstone gun is actually really close to these throwing axes. Bit of a misplay here from Grombrindle. You can see the throwing axes are going to be getting some good AP fire here, maybe even able to take out a Gyrocopter if it still sits where it is right now. Yeah, the throwing axe is not a bad tool here. Wulfric, of course, is taking some heavy damage as he does chase off those Longbeards. And Norska is still grinding through. I mean, their army's very tanky. They do have the Marauder champions. I thought those were all basic Marauders, so I assumed it would be very squishy in the front, but the Berserkers plus the champs, of course, have some solid durability. Here comes another pendulum attack. Good one right there, getting into the dwarfs. A little bit of friendly fire on the high ground, but it does get into the miners as well. And a little bit of a misplay from Gromriddle, letting his Gyrocopters just get focused down here by the Marauder Hunters. Very, very good stuff for the Norskans. Now we do have some Marauders surging into the back line. Marauder Horsemen as well, doing some nice harass into these troops. Orkin Gun still shooting quite happily. Only 13 kills though, so it really hasn't paid for itself. And now as far as this balance of power goes, it's still relatively even at this point in this game. And is their backline harass? We have Skin Wolves, the premier condom brand of the old world, still lurking about, could potentially do some backline harass, maybe jump onto some of the Thunderers here. And it's actually a pretty even battle. I'm really surprised due to the lack of the AP from Norska, but it seems like there's sustainability with the Berserkers and the Enrage mechanic and the champions are actually trading somewhat well. Enfeebling Foe dropped on the Longbeards here in the front. Longbeards, of course, holding back the tide of the Berserkers. Enfeebling Foe, of course, will help the Norskans in that engagement. Slayers here basically just on guard duty, just guarding the Organ Gun. I feel like the Organ Gun hasn't had too much to do this game, but Wulfric is in kind of dire straits here. You can see the Gyrocopter with the Brimstone Gun is getting some nice pot shots against him, and he can only juke so much, and he's definitely going to be needed in the late game. So if Norska can somehow stabilize him and save him from the Gyrocopters, that'd be quite nice. Seafang going down right there, but the Slayers are just barely able to dodge that, so nice attempt there from the Norskan player. And the Dwarves are continuing to hold their lines. The Organ Gun's still online, but now Wulfric does see an opening here, which he should 100% go for. Take the Bale Fiend, take Wulfric, shut down the Organ Gun, which is blasting into the side of this formation here. That thing needs to go down for sure. So Bounce of Power is maybe slightly Dwarven favored here, as this Norskan formation here, the Skin Wolves and the Marauders, as well as, just all regular Marauders, are starting to finally get a little bit worn down by the White Dwarf. Grombrindle, of course, a beast in combat. He's got 70, 42, 500, and of course does have all of his items as well. Hunter of Champions is activated on him, so Wulfric's going to be going in for a very ballsy play. Wulfric at like almost no health. This is very Norskan, right? Just like in the worst is just going in, just not caring, totally berserk, trying to take out Grombrindle, but Grombrindle takes forever to kill, and he does get the Bale Fiend in there as well, and he's getting some good damage. Enfeebling Foe as well, so a really nice stacking of debuffs right there. In the meantime, though, the Dwarves are pushing back the Norskins. The Marauder champions across the lines are being taken out by Longbeards and different things like that. And, I mean, I see the champions fighting here in the front a little bit longer, but for the most part, man, Gromby's getting worn down, though. That all-in attempt was pretty good, but Grombrindle takes out Wulfric with his Rune Axe of Grimnir. Very, very happy about the situation, I'm sure he is. And now the Balefiend is left alone to fight the White Dwarf, one of the most legendary warriors of all of Dwarven culture. And I think that Grombrindle, despite his health deficit, should be able to win this fight. And the Norskins are somewhat scattering to the winds now. They have a couple of Marauder Berserkers still fighting in this battle, but the Dwarves have a good backline situation. They have Organ Guns, they have all their Thunders relatively still in firing shape, and I think the Norskins are going to be buckling to the might of the Dawi. So really good play by Goku. I liked it. His micro was quite good. I think that had his army been a little bit more optimized, he would have had a much better chance. Because the army was a little bit suboptimal against the dwarves, in my opinion. But even still, he had really good control with a lot of his pendulums as well as the dogs. But again, the army composition is one of the trickier things to learn in this game. So well played. Well played indeed. And we are doing it to it. All right, so let me go ahead and update the scorecard here for these two fine gentlemen. That is going to be game one for the Dawi. Well played to both players. It was a pretty scrappy game. Well played. Needed more AP. If he had like a mammoth or something like that to follow up. Oh, he was saying he didn't mean to bring the skin wolves. I think it was a mistake. GG. Great micro. I'll let him know. And now in the next map, we're going to be on the not the Ashen Hall is a buggy map. Let's do Troll Country. Troll Country is one of my favorite maps. I know it's really small, but I just love it. So Grombrindle is going to be going for Rapunzel's subfaction, which means he's probably going to bring Henri Le Massif, I would imagine. Oh no, he goes back to Bretonnia. He's thinking about it. And now Grombrindle is going to do his picks and bans. What's his Zypho speaking in Greenskin tongue in chat? The Zypho says he saw a Norskin Marauder, a headless Norskin Marauder running around like a champion. That's funny. Yeah, Andy JP, the Dwarf Goon Squad, has some teeth with Gotrek, Felix, and Thorgrim. It's pretty scary, for sure. Yeah, we got to enjoy some Skinwolf action, for sure. Kim Say, I see that. Perhaps we'll do that. Perhaps we'll do that. Would I accept a sponsorship from Skinwolves? Yeah, I would expect. I would do that probably if there was actually a brand that was like actually had the same marketing with like a picture of a Skinwolf on the side. I probably would consider having them as a sponsor on my channel. Oh my god. There's that, guys. So the players are doing their picks and bans. We're just going to hang tight for a quick minute here. All right. So it looks like he's going to ban Vampire Coast. And he banned Vampire Coast, and who else did he ban? Skaven. Yeah, those are good choices. They're both pretty good against Bretonnia. Vampire Coast especially. Although Bretonnia can beat Vampire Coast. It's not like a doomed matchup in my opinion. It's hard. The Colossus is really strong there. So Goku is going to be doing his picks now. And we'll see what he brings. The time is now. Troll Country. A small scrappy battle, and of course we're going to be closing out the stream with a battle between Zyphos and Raim to decide the fate of the clan ODM. Oh man, Art, those YouTube avatars are so troll. So Art, I think it's Artja. It's the one where it has like a blank avatar with like a tiny fly on it. It like really does trick you sometimes, and you think there's a fly on your screen. That's really funny, man. Oh man. So the Brave Bretonian's coming in from Grombrindle. Goku is going to go Lizardmen, which is a really smart choice. So Lizardmen have a massive advantage here. I would say it's like an 80-20 matchup, if not more. Like Lizardmen have a huge advantage. But again, Grombrindle is quite a seasoned tournament player, so he may have some surprise strategies for this. But we'll see. A really good pick here by Goku. Basically, he just wants to bring like Mazdamundi on Zlok, the Thunderous one, a Laser Dino, and then like some Saurus and like just either Pterodon Riders or like Skinks. Like, and just it's so hard for Bretonnia to stop. Well, although maybe we'll see a ton of Trebuchets. We'll see. All right. I've been waiting all stream for Coast and they get blocked. Center Swift. Don't worry. I post a ton of replays with the Vampire Coast. So you are not going to be neglected, my friend. As a matter of fact, I have like 6 or 7 of them in the wings just waiting to be posted. All right. All right. Let's see what they bring. I'm curious to look at the armies here, but I don't want to spoil it for myself. My phone is about to die, so let me plug that bad boy in here. It's a really hard matchup, though. I've been really trying to theory craft this one, because, like, you can't really do halberds. The thing about halberds is they just kind of, like, get run over by Zlok and, like, Ruination of Cities and Banishment, and it just doesn't hold that well. And then if you go with, like, cav units, it's like, they have such good armor that, like, even Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm still take forever to kill them. I mean, there's combos that you can use with, like, Heavens, like Curse of the Midnight Wind and stuff like that. Hey, darling.
I have tomorrow.
Yay, Dobja. No work tomorrow. Lady Turin is free from her oppressive job for one more day.
Do you want tea?
Sure, babe. Thank you, sweetheart. Medusas are not very good, unfortunately, in my opinion. Yeah. Medusas are a pretty weak unit. I feel like they're just janky. As a matter of fact, when I was in chat with Falcon and a couple other folks earlier, apparently they had been testing it, and I think the Medusa loses to like a Great Eagle in combat. It's just a weird unit. Yeah, I don't know. They're like, why would you ever take a Medusa when you can take a Scourge Hunter Chariot in its stead? And scores all updated. And yeah, remember guys, these are practice games today, so players, who are getting their teeth kind of into multiplayer are playing, as well as some seasoned players. So, players are just trying out new builds and styles and, getting used to the tournament format. That's basically the... Guys, raise your shields, the Slanesh bots attack! Defend us! Oh my god, it's so crazy because the Slanesh bots actually know, like, they copy your chat now. And they repeat it to try and blend in. It's insane. Hold the line! Hold! I know, they're back. They're back. They're back in greater numbers. I know. The thing is, Medusas are okay. Like, if you bring a Medusa against, like, Chaos, for example, they're really good at killing elite infantry with their ranged attacks, but they're just, like, kind of haggard. Yeah, and this build's pretty good. This is a strong build. My only critique would be that I think having Mazdamundi on Zlok is really good. But 2 laser dinos, yeah, this is a good build. It's pretty strong. It's a little bit of a different variant. It's not like the most optimized version of the anti-Bretonnian build, but it's certainly not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Thunderous one alone is like really tough, although he just brought a second on, it looks like. So, Saurus Spears in the front line with a couple Skinks, 2 Chameleon Skinks as well, the Legion of Chaqua in the back. We do have a Mage of Life, and 2 Bastillodons with the solar engines to shoot at, any number of peasants or cav units. So for the Bretonnians, let's take a look here, and Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, he's doing his Corvos Legio clan once again. So, him and Falcon representing their clans quite proudly today. I believe it's a Polish clan. Very Dobja indeed. He's got the Companions, he's got Grail Knights, Peasant Archers, Halberds mixed in as well. He's got Gotrek, he's got a Damsel of Life, and up in the sky we have Alberic de Bordelot, who obviously is, pretty solid. Anti-large armor piercing, and with his trident, he does give bonus versus large to nearby troops, which can be very nice with, like, questing knights and things like that. So, as far as the builds go, I think Bretonnia is going to still have some trouble with this. The Laser Dinos can put some serious hurt on the Bretonnian Cav, and the Pterodon Riders, of course, can do some bombardment against Peasant Archers and things like that. But nonetheless, Bretonnia has Gotrek, it has Alberic, so if it can get those good engagements and good isolations on the Stegodon here, that could win him the game for sure. Because without the Stegodon, this army could potentially fold over to the Bretonnian horde. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Are you guys choosing your blessings from the Dark Gods here? Is that what's going on? Sigvald's rubbing off on you, says Aerocrastic. Hopefully the stream is helping you get through work, Arrow. That's my goal, really, when I do these streams during the day like this, to help you guys get through your work days and do it. Yeah, Gottschalk's a really good choice. He's competitive here, for sure. Like, he has a ton of AP. He's super hard to kill, and, you know, he can chop down the dinos if it comes to it. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. You know, the fact that the lizards don't have, like, 2 big, nasty single entities in melee definitely helps a lot, because it means he can gang up on the Stegodon a little bit easier. But, you know, the build is still good for the dinos. I definitely dig it. It's not quite the really oppressive one, but it's still good. So the battle will be underway. The Bretonnian's going to be going to battle against the lizards. Alberic up in the sky with his trident of Manon, the sea god. Going to be getting ready to party for sure. And where's he going to go? Looks like he is beelining here. This is the Stegodon with the Ballista, and he takes the first shot. Oh, direct hit. Nails Alberic right in the face, and Alberic is not Lewin. He has no way of healing easily, so he does take that trident right in the face there. Oh, nice jukes there from Grombrindle. The laser dinos as well are shooting in, but the laser dinos, as this battle does go on, are probably going to want to be shooting the knights. Going after the companions would be a huge benefit for sure. And the other choice would probably be these Grail Knights on the far side for sure. So yeah, taking out the elite cav is really the way you want to go here. But it looks like he's trying to snipe Gotrek now. And Gottschalk's taking a bit of damage, actually. The laser dinos shooting him right in the face right there. It looks like the Pterodon Riders are forced back here by the Peasant Archers, and Grombrindle is going to be coming in with Alberic. We've seen a lot of Bretonnia today, I must say. And here comes Alberic, chasing down the Pterodon Riders. Should be able to do some work against those guys and maybe force them off. In the meantime, Gotrek is fighting in the front lines. He's fighting side by side with his people, the glorious peasant mobs. Man, he's like as wide as like 2 of those peasants. He's a beast, but that's pretty much how dwarves are described in lore. But Gotrek is helping them win the frontline fight against those guys, which is very helpful for them. And it looks like the Wrath Manon is going to be going down as well. Thank you, darling. And, oh, look at the damage it does. Some decent damage here against the Legion. Not insane, but that's still not negligible damage. And the Bretonnian Cav collapsing from the side of the formation, going in and just overwhelming these Saurus Spears in the front. So the Saurus just absolutely crumped by those Grail Knights. And the Stegodon has yet to engage. It looks like he's using the Stegodon more for a ranged piece. Granted, it should be in the frontline fighting, in my opinion, but the Legion of Chaqua has been pulled forward, and the Laser Dinos need to switch their sights here onto the Grail Knights and those more elite troops. But here comes a banishment. Oh no, this could be nasty! But honestly, it's probably going to hurt the Lizards pretty bad as well. So a huge banishment going down right there, doing a ton of damage against all those Peasant Spears. That ended up being pretty good. Also on top of that, it does nail the Grail Knights on their way through, so that was a really good banishment. Laser Dinos are now shooting in. One of them is compromised here by the Companions, which is a pretty disastrous situation here for that Bastillodon. Companions are anti-large, they're armor-piercing, and they're more than up to the task of taking down that Laser Dino. Over here we do have Alberic going after the Toad, so the Slan Mage of Life going to be running for the hills, and it looks like the 2 dinos here are going to be going after Alberic, so one Stegodon trying to come and help, who is buffed by the Aura of Pretzel, but it looks like Gotrek has got his paws on him. So Gotrek is coming in hot here, guys. He's got his Rune Axe of Grimnir, and he is just swinging his arms around, calling for the Bretonnian Knights to swarm this beast. And it's looking pretty good for Bretonnia, for sure. I mean, the peasants are running for the hills, but the back line of Bretonnia is in relatively good shape. Pterodons have done some decent harass, but the Halberds were able to chase them off. And yeah, having the Companions on top of this Laser Dino is really good, but good reaction here from Goku. He's able to get the Legion of Chaqua and force them back, and they took some serious casualties, guys, so it looks like the Lizards might be scrapping their way back in this game ever so slowly. Really, a lot of it may come down to how this backline harass goes, but you can see here the Mage of Life is actually taking some good poke here from the Pterodon darts. Looks like there's going to be a regrowth going down on the Saurus Spears, so they do come in to try and help. Gotrek causing some serious problems, and the Companions charging in once again, or the Grail Knights, excuse me, doing some decent cycle charging damage against those elite spears. So if we take a look at the battlefield overall, the Bretonnians trying to secure their backlines a little bit from some of the harass and the skinks and the Saurus and things like that. They still have a lot of halberds, which will be quite strong as well, and the Pterodon Riders look to finally be maybe forced off here by these Peasant Archers who are starting to get some decent firepower on those guys. And oh, look at this. Is that a Dwellers Below? Oh, look at that. Gotrek standing here with a Dwellers Below coming in, doing a ton of damage, timed with a charge from these Grail Knights. That is some brutal damage, and that's really going to buckle the Lizard defenses. So Dwellers Below, of course, does some massive damage in conjunction with the charge, and Gotrek, you can see these Saurus Spears. I can't believe they're still steady. These guys are still going strong. Laser Dino with a point-blank shot right into the Grail Knights. Certainly not bad. But I would imagine Alberic's going to be coming in and trying to get on that fat toe there. Maybe he's thinking about it. Wrath Manon goes down, which does make some okay contact, but it looks like Goku was able to dodge that before it did substantial damage. And we still have the Stegodon. I mean, the big monsters are still mostly intact. Laser Dino's still shooting against Elite Cav. They definitely need to be shut down. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Alberic should just ignore the Slan. The Slans actually take a long time to finish. They have a ton of HP. Their stats are pretty pitiful, but they have a lot of HP. Nice heal there, going down Earthblood on the Bretonnian Blob as they swarm all over the Stegodon, but it just goes to show like how hard this matchup is. It's like one Stegodon is like occupying the whole Bretonnian army. But it's still being taken out. The companions of Quenelles here are doing some great damage against the beast. Peasant archers shooting in as well. And with this Stegodon going down, I think Bretonnia... Oh man, if that banishment had been a little bit more over here, that could be so nasty. And the banishment goes down. It does kind of free up the Stegodon, but he's broken. So the Bretonnians should be able to chase it off the battlefield right here. Up in the high ground, Alberic's still going fisticuffs with the Toad, and it looks like he's doing quite well. But the Toad does have the Aura Pretzel, which means his defensive stats in conjunction with regrowth. He's going to be very, very tough to burn down. Over here, this laser dino is still shooting. We have Pterodon Riders shooting in, and yeah, the Bretonnians are slightly favored. Not favored, but ahead in this matchup in accordance with the balance of power, but it's still a pretty close game. Gotrek's still going. As Hadrius would say, the Church of Gotrek is going strong, and he is able to chop down some of these guys. Laser Dino with a little bit of friendly fire. It wouldn't be a Laser Dino without some friendly fire. And now the Companions, this is a pretty juicy opening back here for sure. The Companions can probably compromise this Laser Dino, whereas the Alberic probably can go in and finish off the Toad. Here he comes. A nice charge right there. Does he make impact? It looks like the Toad's melee defense does hold firm, although the second attack does do some pretty good damage, and the Companions are rallied as well. But there are Pterodon Riders coming in, and these guys are very beat up, so I don't know, guys. This might be an opportunity for the Dinos to come back in if they can hurt Alberic here with this Laser Dino. Although, look at this. There's so many Bretonnians, just so many unwashed, filthy bodies here. And Gotrek, of course, is still in really good shape. Stegodon's back, though. It's a little bit troll for sure, having to deal with that beast. Laser Dino continuing to shoot into Gotrek here, who, of course, is coming to settle some grudges. I don't know what this Laser Dino did to his sister or someone in his family. I'm not really sure, but nonetheless, it looks like he has that oath look in his eye where he's on the hunt going after this Basiladon. Here, of course, we have a fat heal going down. Gotrek's Doom and Earthblood popped, making him very, very tough to kill. 40 melee defense on the Slayer. He's up to a whopping 90 right now, so good luck killing him in any hurry. And Laser Dino shooting him. He's got the 44% natural ward save, and he also has some Brave Peasant Spears near him. Now, battle's still pretty close. We have this Laser Dino over here getting some routes off, and it looks like Alberic was able to break off the Stegodon, but the problem is if you don't break off the Stegodon and let it come back like this, Goku can turn this beast around right now and can safely shoot with its ballista. So basically he can start putting steady damage on Alberic, which could get them back in the game, which is absolute insanity. Gotrek's still fighting here. Looks like he's being bombarded by some of the Pterodons. He's fighting pretty hard. The Bretonnian spears are surging in as well to try and help him out. And the spears will be good against Pterodons for sure. And it's always nice to just have some bodies here to help out in the fight against Skinks. Here comes some firepower from the Pterodons. A little bit of friendly fire, but probably worth it to break off these spearmen at arms and leave Gotrek a little bit alone. The Beastlayer's a Bastoner here as well. Oh, okay, I didn't notice he had these guys, so that's going to be very helpful as well against the big dinos in the late game. Laser Dino's pushed off. You can see the Bastillodon, the Solar Engine, is being forced back as well. And over here, once again, Alberic's like, oh god, I have to come back here again and finish this thing off. So he charges in, and does he make impact? It looks like he does some pretty good damage, negative 21. Alberic, of course, has a bonus for his large, good AP values. Should be enough to just break down the Stegodon. So the Stegodon's going to be turning and running for the hills, and now that he sees it shatter, Alberic is, of course, being a chivalrous man, is like, I will let you go. I've won this duel. Let me go back and, finish off the remnants of my opponent's army. So Alberic's coming in. Dino's making a last stand up on the hill. Goku with some solid defensive play here. The shield of the old one's going down, but the Church of Gotrek goes strong, and the disciples, his apostles, follow him into battle. The Beastlayer's a Bastone, of course, they got some teeth, especially against the big dinos. Gotrek getting trampled, and Gotrek gets trampled. He gets like 10 spears thrown into his back, yet he still gets up with the same ferocity and rage. And he should be able to help finish off these big dinos. Granted, he's getting very, very low at this point. He's got 705 HP. We have companions coming back in. Probably going to be going after the Slan, I would imagine, but it looks like they're actually committing back into the main battle. Alberic chasing off the other laser dino here. And I don't know how this battle is so close. I mean, I guess it is, right? Like, the Bretonnians are super beat up. Gotrek is fighting, like, his heart out up here, but he needs a heal. He needs some milk. Gotrek is down to 346 right now. He might get taken out by a bunch of Saurus and Skinks. Is there any healing left? I think the damsel's actually gone. Peasant archers are out of ammo. Guys, and the dinos, are they pulling ahead in the bounce of power? No, it's pretty even still. This is absolute insanity, this game. I mean, Alberic should be able to carry this for sure. I think if Alberic just takes out the Bastillodon, that should be enough. It looks like Gotrek has fallen. So he met his doom at the hand of a bunch of Skinks and Saurus, which I suppose is, there's worse fates, right? At least it's not like losing to zombies or skeletons. And here you can, I mean, Saurus are scary. They're definitely worthy opponents for sure. The Pterodon Rider here is pushed off by Alberic. This is a real scrap, to say the least. So here comes Alberic, getting a nice charge here into the Legion of Chaqua. And they're now terrified. -4, -1, -7, -18. Spears are charging up the hill. And I don't know, I still think Bretonnia has this. Despite the bounce power being pretty even, I think the amount of halberds He's trying to pull back as his skinks are trying to swarm on this damsel. Get rid of the healing. I mean, if Alberic gets a heal too, that could be really nasty. I wonder if the damsel has enough Winds of Magic. He did use Dwellers below, so his Winds of Magic situation is probably pretty sparse here for Grombrindle. And the Chameleon's charging in, and is the damsel going to get broken by these skinks? It looks like it. The brave Bretonnian soldiers coming in to the aid of the damsel in distress, which is certainly lore-friendly as well, but they might actually lose the Chameleons. Granted, there's a whole group of peasant archers coming in as well. Alberic surging forth, getting a nice engagement here against the Bastiladon. If that Bastiladon breaks, I think that should be it there. The peasants, I think the horde of unwashed peasants here should be able to swarm these skinks. Even the peasant archers, like it's just kind of a numbers game at this point. Nice play here from the Bastiladon running it in, trying to get a terror out off on these spears as Alberic continues to hunt. The Slann up on the high ground rolls in on his toilet seat, and man, we got a close game here. Some skinks on the edge of the map. As far as other troops, we got some peasant archers coming back, pretty much out of ammo though. But the Beast Slayer is still going strong, I think. I think these are the Beast Slayers. No, those are just men-at-arms. Beast Slayers are kind of mixed in here. But the Bastiladon is going down. I think that's going to give Bretonnia the advantage. I don't think the Slann is going to be up to the task of fighting Alberic with heroic killing blow. Although these skinks are going really long. Nice play here by Goku. He actually uses cold-blooded to buff up the skinks, to make them keep fighting. Really, really nice play there. And also the Aura Pretzel is going to give them some insane stats. So the Solar Engine going to get chased off. Really good play for sure. You 100% need to get that thing off because it still has ammo. Like if you let that thing come back for even a moment and shoot at Alberic, that could be like a deciding factor for this game. Let's see what they're saying here. Saying GG. Goku saying stupid lizard GG. That's funny. And it looks like the Bretonnians are going to be taking the glorious victory here as the Bastiladon is chased off and Alberic coming in hot for the lady. The Bastiladon falls, and now the Slann fights against a horde of unwashed peasants. I mean, I think the Beast Slayers are probably washed. I don't think they're quite as much of a peasant-type unit. Alberic up in the sky, coming in for the death thrust with his trident. Going to be skewering this toad. Slann's back on the menu, boys, as the Slann Mage falls, and Grombrindle takes the series 2-0. I have to say, Goku mentioned he's relatively new. I don't think he's played in tournaments, and he's been doing quick battles, but really good fight for sure. I mean, even though it is a very heavily favored Lizard matchup, Grombrindle is a seasoned tournament player, so very, very well played to him. Great stuff indeed. And now we're going to close out the stream with, one second here, guys. Pulling it up. With Xiphos and Rain. And this shall be the final battle to decide the fate of the stream. Although there's no fate to be decided, really. It's just kind of the final battle for the stream. Making sure I didn't miss anyone here. And looks about right. Lovely Lady Turin here in chat. Just being awesome and beautiful as always. And now, let us go and get it going. GG. How many noobs does it take to throw this matchup? Just me, says him. No, you played very well, man. You played great. You played great. So now Xiphos and Raim, the clanmates, going to have to fight Anakin versus Obi-Wan all over again. I don't know if Raim's on my friends list. He might be. My friends list is always like rotating because of the stupid limit. It's so frustrating. We'll see if they're still around. I know they're in France, so it's a bit of a late one there. I don't know if that's him. It might be. I think he's playing under a different name. Give peasants the buckets to shower. Oh my god. All right, let me see if they're still here. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. And for the next map, let's go and do Tower of Hoth. It's a nice elf map. I'm sure Xiphos will appreciate that. Thank you guys for joining. 875 people, 850, kind of staying strong. Peasants are not meat shields. We have a peasant revolt in chat? It sounds like we do. Sounds like we do indeed. It's only a matter of time before the Slaanesh bots evolve and start donating to the stream to get their... You know, what if they like learned they could donate like $1 and just like have their... That'd be pretty funny. Hey Josh, you did great, man. You had some good control in the first game. Like your weaving with the hounds was really, really good. When you got the hounds and weaved into his organ gun, that was a super solid play. I think in the first game, Goku, I think your big issue was your army composition. You lacked AP, but your control was good. You had a lot of good pendulums, a lot of good sea fangs. It was really just your army comp. In the second game, there was a couple slight things when you're playing that matchup versus Bretonnia. You want to get Mazda Mundi on Zlok plus the Thunderous one. And you only really need one laser dino. Two big single entity monsters are super hard for Bretonnia to deal with. So that would be my 2 cents. But you played very well. And Grombrindle is a seasoned tournament player, so there's no shame in that. So very well played, man. Very well played indeed. Yes, the 2 clanmates. So, all right, so Xiphos picks and bans first. This is the final showcase match of the day. We've had some fun for sure. We're about the 2.5 hour mark, I think. We're getting pretty long in the stream. Yeah, about 2.5 hours. Perfect. The Peasant Revolt, bring out the soap. Do we have a list of maps? Yeah, if you come into our tournament Discord, there's a pinned comment actually, which has a bunch of maps that we usually use. Ryback 311. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, but what I would do, Ryback, if you're having issues with selecting your army in time, is I would go through and pick like the 2 or 3 factions you like the most and you play the most often, and you can save your build. So you can go into a quick or a custom battle game and just sit in the lobby by yourself, create builds. So then when you get an opponent who readies up instantly on you in quick battles, you can simply just load your build. Yeah, that would be my 2 cents until you get more comfortable with picking quickly. Or you can simply just leave. Like, there's no penalty. You can just, if they ready up on you instantly. What the hell? Xiphos is playing Chaos? What planet are we on? He's playing Chaos, and it looks like Rain might be on Beastmen. All right, this is interesting. I like what he's working with here. I like what he's working with. Center Swift. The peasants are paying to... Oh, did somebody say the peasants are paying taxes? Senator Swift, thank you so much for the $2, man. Pennies for the poor peasants lost last battle. That is, their alms have been paid. Thank you so much for supporting the stream as well, man. I know it's a bit of an off-content stream, sort of. Well, I guess Warhammer still, so. Tower of Hoth is an amazing map. Xiphos is going Chaos, and he's banning Halflings. Okay. So it looks like Rame has the pick of the litter. If I were Rame here, I would 100% go Vampire Counts. It's one of the matchups in which counts are actually super strong. It used to be like massively favored, but there's been a couple changes to things like Chaos Spawn becoming better that have helped. But yeah, Vampires are very, very good here. London Workman, if you want to play in tourneys, just join my tournament Discord or any number of other ones who are also listed in my Discord. You can find them. And when I or another host posts about a tournament, including like Italian Spartacus, who always hosts them in there, and my son Herbert Walker, just, join up. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, man. Come join us, brother. Hey, and Dov Plays. Thanks for putting on the great games earlier, Dov. Thank you so much for the 10. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but thank you so much. Man, there's just a flood of it. Thank you, guys. Very generous. Although I'll probably end up just donating that back to Dov on one of his streams. But thank you so much, Dov. Really appreciate it, man. He does pay. And Josh Edwards, GG all. Going to kick back and learn some more, and I'll try to do the old ones proud one day. Josh, and also Josh, if you have any questions pertaining to the Lizardmen, shoot Falcon a message, or some of these Lizardmen mains, or myself. I can give you some basic builds, but I'm not great at lizards. But just discuss with people in the Discord about builds, and people can really work with you on that, and it helps quite a bit. I forgot to change the name tags. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. And thank you so much for the donation, man. Glad you had fun today. You did really, really well. And here we have... And Rain. These 2 clanmates, former friends, now bitter enemies, forced to fight in the pits against one another. All right, well, that's not really what's happening, but more or less. Dov always pays. Yeah, if we have any mods here, could you guys drop a link to the Discord? If not, I'll be able to do it here in a couple minutes. No problem. No problem. Thank you guys so much for the very generous donations. It means a lot. Keeps me going. Keeps the Wookiee fed. All right, here we go. Let's see what they're doing here. So Xiphos is ready. Xiphos says, okay. Go, go, baby. It looks like it's going to be Greenskins versus Chaos. This is always a fun one. It's fast and furious. Xiphos perhaps trying to broaden his horizon of usually only playing elves mostly. Granted, I think I've seen him play Chaos. I think he's pretty good at them. I mean, Xiphos is good at probably any faction he wants to play with how good his micro is, but maybe trying to broaden his horizon a little bit. We'll see. Rame, of course, I know likes the main vampire counts, so I assume we're going to see counts, but oh, it's actually going to be just the works. The Wa is here indeed. We'll see how the Wa does. Tower of Hoth, of course, a map that allows for a lot of forest treachery, so I'm surprised we didn't see a Wood Elf pick here, but again, I think they're trying out new things since it is a practice stream. And yeah, we're going to see what they bring. I mean, yeah, they could still put some things in the trees, but for the most part, both these factions just want to go fisticuffs. And I mean, Zyphos could do like some Hell Cannon shenanigans and like, you know, have a mass kite build with like Horse Masters and stuff. You could still play that way if you want to, but aside from that, Chaos doesn't have too many ranged assets to kind of work with here. What's that, guys? Pulling this up here real quick. Thank you guys so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Zyphos on Chaos. Very excited for this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the lovely thumbnail, which was actually drawn like a year ago by Lady Turin, or several years ago. All right, one sec here. Yeah, Lizardmen are very strong. I think Lizardmen are a top tier faction. I think they, I don't know, like, if I had to really think about it, like, what bad matchups do the Lizards have? Maybe Tomb Kings can be tricky for them sometimes, but even still, I feel like they have some really good tools there. Dark Elves maybe a little bit, but Lizards are, like, a really safe, like, if you want to specialize in a faction that, like, doesn't have too many hard counters, like, Lizards are, I think, a really good choice. All right, so, oh my god, Zyphos coming in with Archaon the Ever-Chosen. So Burning Skull, Flaming Sword, Cascading Fire Cloak, and Slayer of Kings. Front line is going to be Chaos Marauders. Oh my god, he's going for Chaos Tonya! Guys, so Zyphos has all Chaos Knights. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this! So, okay, this is what people in the industry call Chaos Tonya. So basically, in conjunction with the rules, you can basically have, of the tournaments we usually play in, you can have three of each variant. So he has 3 with lances and 3 with swords and shields. So guys, you're getting a true Chaos Tonya build. Now for the force of the Greenskins, we got Goblins, Blackworks, a really nice pick here. This Arachnaut Queen, like, literally might save him the game. In the front line, it's mainly just Goblins and Chaff, a couple Blackworks. We got Azag in the sky, who's super good here with Spirit Leech. The Arachnaut Queen is great because of how armored it is. It'll be very good against Chaos Knights. And Pig Tonya as well, so Savage Orc Poor Boys. Oh my god, this is so good. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Pig Tonya versus Chaos Tonya in the battle between the French clanmates. Let's see how this goes. This is going to be so great. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this, guys. So if you're doing a replay and you want to get the unit cards to pop up, you just mouse over the unit and you hit the I button on your keyboard and it'll pull it up, and whenever you mouse over anything, you can basically just look. That's how you do that. Hopefully that helps, brother. Ben Eifert, keep up the epicness. Thank you so much for the donation, man. And you're about to get some epicness, and I mean, Chaos Tonya is really cool. With Archaon leading the charge? Come on. It doesn't get any more metal than that. I mean, the Chaos Cav Core is definitely a little bit stronger, but the Greenskins, of course, have Azag plus Blackworks in the Spider. Blackworks are going to be very tough to kill for the Chaos Knights, especially without, like, Plague of Rust and things like that. But, yeah, this is absolute lunacy. Zyphos is just, like, randomly yelling. Just in the chat. That's very Chaos. You guys think Chaos... So, let us know in chat, guys. Who do you think is going to win? You think it's going to be Chaos Tonya or Pig Tonya? Or Green Tonya? I don't know. I think Pig Tonya is the way to do it. 4 Savage Orc Boar Boys. Oh my god. This is going to be such a circus. You guys want the Pig Tonya to win? Oh my god. I can only imagine what Raim is going to think when he sees this army. Leave it up to Zyphos. He has the micro to play this, for sure. Because, like, microing 6 units of Chaos Knights is a lot of work, but I think he's going to be able to handle it. Marauder's obviously just going to get absolutely crushed, but that's you know, that's their job. Just to run forward and take a beating for the Dark Gods. If there's no Beastmen around to send in to be sacrificed in lore, Chaos will usually send in its Marauders first. Because Chaos Warriors are like a whole nother echelon of power in the lore. Archaon the Ever-Chosen. Swerving about. Looks like a Spirit Leech going down on the Chaos Knights. Pretty good choice there from Raim, doing damage against those very elite troops, but, you know, pretty target-rich environment. I might actually Spirit Leech Archaon instead, but nonetheless, still pretty good value there. So the Goblins here are going to get absolutely massacred by these Chaos Knights, I would imagine, if he decides to charge them. But it looks like Zyphos is opting to go around instead. And here the mainline fighting is almost underway. Archaon just going deep here, but he's got to be careful. There's the Spider, so I think Archaon needs to pull back. I mean, he could fight the Spider. And the Chaos Knights with a huge thundering charge running down those Night Goblins. And Archaon is able to get away from the Spider. Oh no, but the Spider catches him. Maybe just pop Slayer of Kings and fight, honestly. On the far side, Chaos Knights engaging against Pig Tonya, so all the Chaos Knights here are going to be zerging in, and I think the Greenskins are going to win this fight, honestly. With the Wa active and Azag nearby, this is going to be pretty disastrous here. Good. Flaming Skull going to be going down. This is going to be nice. And it burned through the pigs. Oh, yeah, that's some good damage right there. Burning right through those piggies. Archaon the Everchosen juking the spider, coming over here. And the other Chaos Knights with lances charging as well. Both players throwing a lot of resources into this fight, but the Greenskins are able to hold pretty well. Chaos Knights being forced back and terrified by Azag. Archaon, of course, charging into some of the pigs here. And on the other side, the Chaos Knights were able to run down some goblins and, of course, do very well for themselves. But the spider summons are going to be going down here from the Arachnaut Queen. Here comes the Chaos Knights charging into the pigs. The Savage Orc War Boys. Oh my god, look at that charge. That's so awesome. And of course, the pigs will lose out on that charge, but from a cost perspective, it's really not bad for the piggies. Over here, we have Chaos Knights still fighting. Balance of power is very Greenskin favored, as the Chaos Knights got crumped pretty hard over here by the spider, not by the spider, but by the horde of Black Orcs and the Savage Orc War Boys. And Azag's going to be coming in once again. So, guys, it looks like the fans of Pigtonia can rejoice because, you know, Chaos Tonia doesn't have too many good tools against the spider here. I mean, maybe if he had brought Kolek instead of Archaon, he could be in better shape. I don't know, though. Greenskin's getting routed off here. Oh, I don't know why I'm getting notifications. I just turned these off. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Archaon the Everchosen breaking this formation. I mean, maybe Archaon can come back, guys. The bounce power is creeping back towards the middle. If Archaon can get some really good snipes, honestly, I would probably go after Azag with, like, Slayer of Kings. That could do something pretty strong here. Looks like a Flaming Sword of Rune's going to be going down, buffing all these guys up. But the Black Orcs are also getting really good steady value here, unfortunately. They're doing a ton of work. Zyphos pulls back these Chaos Knights and prepares a Lancing Charge into the back of these Black Orcs, which will do okay damage. They still have a really good charge bonus, but the Black Orcs are so armored. Charges aren't going to be super impactful against them. In the meantime, Archaon is going after the spider. Obviously, it's a huge threat. I think Azag might have been the better choice here, but yeah, he's kind of surrounded, I think, by... Are there Black Orcs here? Oh, those are actually spider hatchlings. So the Chaos Knight's going to be falling back and obviously taking advantage of their mobility and cycle charge, but the Black Orcs are just so durable. And you can see here Archaon is forced back, and there's just too many Black Orcs. All the Greenskin Cav is pretty much dead, with the exception of this one group, but yeah, I guess they're coming back. They're, you know, that's the way of the Greenskins, just kind of constantly coming back and forth and back and forth. And here comes another charge. Gorkle Fix-It is popped, which is going to lower their charge bonus and speed. Quite nice. And they just basically go slow motion into those Black Orcs, which is going to be pretty bad for them. Azag's on the hunt, Spider's on the hunt, Goblin Wolf Trades are on the hunt. Chaos Tonia trying its heart out here, but I think that's going to be the game for the Pigtonians. The Hogs, the Wild Hogs. One of the worst movies ever made being represented here. Oh my god, Wild Hogs is seriously one of the most haggard movies like ever. It encapsulates that word. Archaon the Everchosen coming in, you know, but he in a vacuum, yeah, he could beat Azag, but with army losses, he's like, screw this shit. And Chaos is normally pretty selfish and greedy anyway, so I can see him running when the battle goes south. All right, guys, Pigtonia emerges victorious in that absolute meme of a game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing that. I certainly did. But there's too many hogs. Too many hogs for those Chaos Knights to handle. And that's going to be game one going to Rame here in this best of 3. And let's see if Zyphos goes back to his elves now. We will find out here in the next episode. Let's go to the Warpstone Mine. Pigtonia versus Chaos Tonia. Great stuff. They're making oink sounds. Oh my god. Crumps for the Crump God. Bacon's back on the menu, boys. Yeah, I think the spider pretty much spelled his doom, though. I don't know if there was much he could do against that spider. It was just like Chaos Knights are going to not be able to kill a spider. Crumps for the Crump God. Fully plated and war-hardened horses and knights. No, I think I'll have some green boys on pigs. Bacon is one of the best foods on the planet. So we're going to be on the Warpstone Mine here for our next map. So yeah, we don't use this one often enough. I feel like it's a pretty good map. So let's see what they pick. Team bands, go. As the players closing out our stream with glorious games. Yeah, Chaos Warriors are pretty scary, actually, because like a lot of actual Warriors of Chaos, like from the Chaos Wastes and things like that, they're like melded with their armor. So like their skin like kind of melds into, like grows into their armor, and it's like really nasty, and they're like just swollen with unnatural size. So that's why like Chaos Warriors are just so scary. And their armor is like just super powerful in the lore. Archaon did not have piercing bolts. That actually would have helped probably against the spider. Who would win? The elites have chosen, or some piggy boys. Yes, the pigs certainly did very well for themselves. Hey, you know, big props for Zyphos. And yeah, today's stream isn't a tournament. It's just practice games. It's like scrimmages, basically, where people can try new builds out and just, you know, in a relaxed, fun environment here. So we will do it to it. All right, loading back into the game. All right, so not picking Vampire Coast, but Brett, and banning Dark Elves. So he's picking Bretonnia. Rame is picking Bretonnia, and he's man, so much Bretonnia today. It's funny when there's no like prize at stake. You see a lot of the less pick factions coming, right? What is he gonna pick? He's got 2 bans. I thought he would go Vampire Counts actually. So he's going Bretonnia, banning Dark Elves, and I would imagine if I were him, I would probably just ban Wood Elves to try and like clinch a win here. Oh, but he bans Dwarves. Okay. Bretonnia has some okay tools against Dwarves, like Foot Squires, Questing Knights, Hippogriff Knights are pretty good. But yeah, I see that. Dwarves and Dark Elves. So Zyphos probably will go with Wood Elves. He's like a specialist of defeating Bretonians with Wood Elves. Like, we've seen him defeat like the best Bretonian players out there using Wood Elves. And a lot of people consider Bretonnia to be counter. And if you guys are enjoying the stream, do drop a like. It helps out quite a bit. Really appreciate that. That was quite a glorious build indeed. What's up, Randy Leahy? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's very true, Sebastian. You have a point there as well. A lot of Bretonnia today, though. We've seen a ton of them. Gathering angry lumbermen, says Rame. Now, the last time we saw Zyphos play Wood Elves against Zero in my Faction War tournament, he used a tree Death Star and hid in a tree line. I wonder if he's going to do that against Bretonnia. Or is he going to go Waywatchers, his old school style that he's so good at? So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what schemes he's got underway here. Thank you guys so much for joining today. We're wrapping up the stream here in the next 15 or 20 minutes. And we'll be good to go. The angry lumbermen indeed. Rame wants the Bretonnia versus Wood Elf matchup, I think. Yeah, perhaps so. Flying Taco says Rame can do this. I believe in him. I believe in him. I believe in both these guys. They're both awesome players and great guys, so we'll see. Yeah, Optimus Pine, we'll probably make this a regular stream, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know, just grab people in the Discord who want to play. They can find an opponent and then just do it to it. Save this replay for you. Well, so the thing is this will actually be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. So for anyone watching the stream, if you missed earlier games or you have to go now and you want to watch this later, you can come back and watch this on YouTube in a couple hours when I post it. So yeah, we'll see. I want to click on the builds. I want to look. I could put up a screen blocker, I guess, and then I could peek. I could peek. Is it secret? Is it safe? Yeah, Ironbreakers have insane melee defense, especially Nargrimlings. I think it's like 80 something, which is like basically most units have like close to the minimum chance to hit them. It's really powerful. So that's why like Ironbreakers last a long time, even against like, you know, AP units like Chaos Warriors and things like that with great weapons. So Rame is gathering his angry lumbermen. I wonder what he's going to bring. I wonder if we're going to see like a continued train of like trebuchets. That would be pretty wild. Now this map has some really good opportunities for Wood Elves, some natural chokes. Some light like forested areas that he can fall back into and plant ambushes, so certainly has some really good tools for the elves here on this map. I think a tree Death Star could work well, but if he goes with the tree Death Star and Rame brings like 2 trebs just as kind of an insurance policy, that could be quite good as well to just bombard them. And Zypho says ready to roll. Let's see what he's got. I know, Caleb. I'm waiting. I'm waiting with everyone. I'm just eager to see. I'm eager to see these builds. Playing a 40k game here in about 20 minutes as well. One of my buddies is coming over, and we're going to test out the new terrain I was telling you guys about. Did anyone, as Bretonnia, ever beat the Waywatcher build? I mean, yeah, I've seen it beaten before in many tournaments, but I'm just saying Zyphos' Waywatcher build is, the way he plays it, he's very good at dealing with the Bretonnian Cav. Very, very good at it. So, one of the best out there. For sure. Rame is a great player also, so who knows? Who knows? No predictions here, my friends. Usually, I mean, what Bretonnia used to do is just spam, like, you know, just all the cheap cav they have and just swarm all over the archers because it's hard to protect them. Like, Wild Riders don't, on paper, trade effectively with, like, Knights of the Realm and, you know, other things like that because of their lack of AP, but the way that Xiphos does it, like his layering of spears and whittling them down first, and just his timing is really, really good with Prey of Anathrema. Are Sisters of Averlorn good versus Ironbreakers? Not really, because they do magic damage, which is immediately a 25% penalty against dwarves, and on top of that, the dwarves have shield, so you're taking a 25% penalty, and on top of that, you're also shooting into shield. So dealing with Ironbreakers as high elves, I mean, you have a couple options, like your monstrous units, like your Phoenixes can do okay damage, Swordmasters can do pretty good there, your Chariots can do good damage, magic, there's a lot of magic tools that are actually quite good. So yeah, you have other options. Is Xiphos Limp Bizkit? I don't think so. Yeah, the thing about Sisters, though, is they have the magic damage show. It's immediately a 25% penalty, so like what you're paying for, it's kind of it's a tricky one. So this is a cool map. This is the one of the earlier maps, actually, in the game. This map was created for the DLC for, what was it, The Grim of the Grave? Which I think was the first DLC with Volkmar the Grim versus Helman Gorst. Who, like, oh my god, that DLC is so funny. Like, Volkmar, yeah, it makes sense. He's pretty badass and iconic, but, like, Helman Gorst, I don't know where he came out of. What crypt he crawled out of to be picked as the first DLC for this epic game. You can see a little vampire. Looks to be like some sort of a Sylvanian necropolis over there. I'm sure the Skaven would love to get their paws on this stuff. Just a massive warpstone crater. Imagine what horrible things the Skaven could do with that amount of warpstone. I shudder just thinking about it. Alright, guys. So we're going to see if Raim and his Bretonnians going to be able to ride down the Wood Elves of Xiphos. Certainly going to be a fierce cockfight. Wood Elves do require a lot of skill, yeah. They're very micro-intensive. I don't know if I would compare them to Zerg, but in terms of, like, you know, if you're playing StarCraft 2, in my very anecdotal experience, there are some factions that do have, like, a very high skill cap, and they're very hard to play, like Zerg. But if you can master them, oh my god, it's very stressful. And Wood Elves are kind of like that. So is the Empire. But, I mean, Empire's gotten buffed quite a bit, so maybe I don't know if I would say they're quite like that anymore, but... Whereas, like, in StarCraft, I think Protoss are much easier to learn because of how durable they are. So, yeah, Wood Elves are a squishy faction. Have I tested Chosen with Grey Opens against Swordmasters? I think Chosen with Grey Opens win. I can't quite remember. So players are loading in here. Unfortunately, it looks like one of them might have crashed. Let me go ahead and minimize and check. Because they loaded in pretty quick before. Looks like here. Looks like Xiphos is still connected and Raim is still connected as well. So perhaps just something with the computers. We will see, my friends. Gorst and Tretch are the best legendary lords currently. Changed my mind. Gorst is literally nobody. He's not even a master necromancer in the lore. Yeah, doesn't he just have like one like paragraph or something in like some like random ass like lore attribute, like lore corner in a book? We did get the corpse cards from that DLC. We did. I wish they'd update Volkmar's quest so you don't have to declare war on Kislev in the name of stopping Gorst. Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully the players didn't disconnect here. If they did, we'll probably have to reboot. Which is the nature of the beast. Let me go ahead and tag them and see. I see them both online still. Checking to see if these lads dropped. The thing about Swordmasters is when they get below half health, or excuse me, when the martial prowess disappears, they then really just get crumped. So like even if they're ahead in the fight, if the Chosen like are able to get them out of their martial mastery, they lose like what 12 or 14 melee defense, which is brutal, and then they just get karate chopped from there. Hey, look at that! Looks like we loaded in. Somebody's computer was just being a massive potato there. Yep. Xiphos is going for the tree star. Oh baby! And the tree star is actually pretty good against the... And look, Xiphos is literally just going to sit in this tree line right here. Okay, so Firebark Elders. He's got a Treekin to block cap charges, Durthu, and another Tree Man. Spears, Eternal Guard, and 2 groups of Way Watchers basically just to attack with to count as an attacker. That's so obnoxious. Oh my god. So, 1 second, guys. We got Battle Pilgrims. We got Spearmen at Arms. A couple other things. BRB 30. Wait for me. All right, guys, I gotta go answer the door real quick. I will be right back, and hopefully they don't start without me. Wait for me, guys. All right. All right, guys, I'm back. It is time. The players shall do battle. So we have the forces of Bretonnia, who shall be led by King Lewin. Of course, Lewin is a pretty decent choice. And as far as like dealing with the Treekin goes, this army's going to have some trouble. It does have a fair amount of the peasant bowmen. There you go. So peasant bowmen with fire arrows. Fire arrow, of course, will do a little bit of bonus damage against the Treekin. Sorry, let me shut this door real quick. Thanks, darling. Lady Turin coming in. And yeah, guys, it's time. So the Treekin are going to be taking up refuge in the back of the map. Now, in accordance with the rules, you cannot line camp. So by line camping, you have to leave enough space between the back of the map and your army for units to move through. So currently, Xiphos with this tree build is in, fair enough position. There's plenty of room for the Bretonnian cav to circumvent the flanks. The Waystalkers or Waywatchers are going to be moving forward. There is a little bit of an opportunity for a pick here. If King Lewin maybe took a big kind of circuitous route. Yeah, feel free to sit down here if you want to, bud. And the archers are going to be shooting in, going after Lewin. He does have Lion's Shield, some good juking coming in from Rame, so he is able to mitigate some of that incoming damage with some nice juking. And does he have any AoE, though? That's kind of an issue. It doesn't look like there's anything to really punish the blob. Now let's see what the players are saying. He says, Rame says, you can't hide in the tree. You can't hide from your taxes. All right, good stuff. So Battle Pilgrims, Men-at-Arms, Spearmen, all moving forward. Sniping coming in as well. And honestly, I think the Bretonnian cav should probably just rush forward. There's no Pravenoth Rama. Granted, Rame doesn't know that. So obviously there could be, some tricks hiding in these trees or Wild Riders. Currently, like on paper, it just looks like it's a Waywatcher build. So I think that's why Rame is playing so cautiously. He's probably respecting a bunch of Wild Riders popping out of the trees or different threats like that. So Archer shooting up in the sky, getting some good firepower here against King Lewin. King Lewin continues to juke very effectively as the inexorable advance of the Bretonnian horde continues to press. And I mean, honestly, this is pretty good. Xiphos is using a fair amount of ammunition, and Lewin has taken minimal damage, but now he's going to be switching on to the Knights Errant. Knights Errant do, of course, have shields, and you can see these bad boys do have 80 armor, but that won't help too much against the AP of the Waywatchers. And Lewin should just go balls deep here, just straight up charge in there, do some work. And yeah, takes out a couple models, it looks like, maybe one. No, actually didn't get any models yet, 2 models there. And now the trees are going to be advancing out, so the trap is sprung. So the tree can emerge from the tree line. You can see these trees are on fire, which is pretty hilarious. And of course, we got the rest of them all pushing. Now, obviously, he does want to fight in the forest. because if he's able to fight in some sort of a bit of foliage or something like that, the Bretonnian knights will take penalties for fighting in the trees. Large units generally do take penalties. I'm not sure if the tree kin or the tree men ignore those penalties, but nonetheless, it's a much better situation for the Wood Elves to negate the cav. So King Lewin coming in, getting a decent snipe on a couple Way Watchers shooting as well. The Wood Elves still advancing up, and it looks like they found their home for the rest of this battle. So I don't foresee them leaving this little natural tree line. At least the peasants, or the Bretonnians, I just called them peasants. At least the peasants do actually have some archers. So the archers can put some decent saturated fire, but I really don't see how Rame is going to be able to crack this. Like, imagine if there was like 2 trebuchets, for example. They would be so good at just beating this formation down, but this is going to be really tough. So the peasants, they have their pitchforks, they have their rakes, they have their hoes, and they're going to come in and fight a bunch of trees that are quite literally on fire. So it's certainly not going to be fun for them. Bretonnian archers raining some heavy fire down into the formation, and actually doing some damage to the Way Watchers, baiting out an Earthblood. I think that might have been a little bit early for an Earthblood, but the peasants are going to be the first into the fray, and they're going to get clubbed by this ancient tree man. So going to be a very brutal situation. The fire arrows will do extra damage, but still, if you look at everything in a vacuum, the ancient tree man has good armor values, good physical resist, so the fire bonus isn't too big. Although this is a huge isolation right here. You can see that the tree man overextends, and Lewin is able to get a rear charge, but again, Durthu's coming. Optimus Pine is wielding that giant sword, and he should be doing some heavy damage here. But that's a nice isolation from Lewin. He can capitalize further here. Manticore Summon coming down as well. The Feral Manticore will do some additional punch here. Sword of Crone is well active, which is going to be lowering the armor of the tree man down to 80. And look at this, the peasant archers are actually doing a ton of damage to this tree man with the Sword of Crone active. And the Bretonnians are basically throwing just everything at the wall. You can see all the knights are charging into the trees, but they're very obstructed here. And those Firebark Elders, those very elite treekin, are going to be able to absorb the charge very, very well. But, you know, if he can methodically pick off the trees, like you use Lewin and the Manticore Summons, pick off the tree men, push it out of the formation somehow, that would be really strong. Now, Xiphos did respond with a Manticore Summon of his own and was able to get some, decent punch back here on the peasant archers. But for the most part, that was a really good trade here for Rame. But I still don't know if he's going to be able to crack this formation. The Wood Elves are barely taking any damage, and despite some really good cycle charging from Rame, like the Treekin are just holding really firm, and the Eternal Guard, of course, as far as like baseline, just cheap troops go, are just impossible to break. They're just so good for their cost. So here we have another Manticore Summon coming in. It looks like King Lewin is going to be winding up for another run. He charges in, getting a nice rear charge on Durthu, so he's going to be able to get some attacks in the back of this big tree as he is blocked up here. But the Firebark Elders are going to be surging forward to provide some nice buffering for this formation, and the second Manticore, the first one which was summoned, is now going to be running for the hills as it does disappear and the Winds of Magic fade from its existence. Now, Bounce Bar is actually pretty even. Bretonnian archers, peasant archers, are okay on ammo, so there's going to be a fair amount of firepower coming back in. Lewin has done some good work, and the tree man is very low. Durthu is still in good shape. I would imagine Winds of Magic for Xiphos here is a little bit stretched thin at this point. There's another Earthblood going down, which of course is accruing massive value, but the Earthblood can only hit a maximum of 4 targets. So in this case, it actually did not hit the tree man, which means he did not get the heal, and Lewin is coming in for another strike. So the King of Bretonnia charging in once again, doing battle with this ancient tree man, fire arrows saturating into this Wood Elf defensive formation, but the tree man's taking a bit of a beating. He's still confident though. Wood Elves have pretty good leadership across the board. Lewin's in good shape as well. Perhaps there's going to be some sort of a spellcast here. Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, giving him some nice physical resist. Certainly not going to be a bad thing. Manticore Summon going down for the Wood Elves. So the Manticore Summon here is going to be folding back around and trying to pin in King Lewin. And the Wood Elves, of course, holding very, very firm against the pressure here from the Bretonnians. And all the Bretonnian cav is just so beat up at this point. You can see here the Knights of the Realm are just tattered beyond reason. There's archers around, but for the most part, all Bretonnia really has left is King Lewin. So that's going to be a pretty dicey situation here. Stand Your Ground being activated as well. Lion's Shield, all that kind of good stuff. But I just simply don't see how the Bretonnians can win this. I think the Treemen were able to take up refuge in the trees and are just, very happy to do so. Now, something I think Rame could have done a little bit differently, I think had Rame not engaged the trees, used his peasant archers to just trade with the Way Watchers for as long as he could, while cycle charging with Lewin and trying to get some kind of cheeky value here and there. I think the Bretonnians might have been able to do a little bit more there, but even still, it's hard to say. But I love the Sword of Corone here. Nerfing the melee defense and the armor of this target for the archers to really just get that additional damage is very helpful, but you guys can see the balance of power is ebbing massively into the favor of the Wood Elves here in this situation, as the Treemen are able to just cleave through these peasants in the forest. The Wood Elf archers returning fire, and certainly putting some hurt on the king here. And yeah, there's pretty much no troops here. The Bretonnian dead are just littering this forest, and that's probably going to be game here in a moment, as even Lewin is shattered at this point. All that's really fighting are peasants, and that is going to be all she wrote. So very well played. That is going to be tying up the series. But guys, I actually have to run here, and this, of course, is just a practice tournament, so it's not too much of a big deal, but I do have to go right now. So very well played to those two fine folks. I'll let them know in chat. Hey, GG, guys. got to run a bit early. We will get you both in next one. Rame says, I got Saint denied. So Zyphos pulls out the win there, tying up the series. But I feel like that's a fitting end between these two clanmates. A 1-1 series. Feels good for everyone. And yes, Zyphos is correct. Not enough Lumberjacks. So guys, thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate it. And we'll be doing this more often. So this is going to be a new format on the channel where on Tuesdays and Thursdays we, do various practice streams and things like this for newer players and more advanced players to kind of mix and play against one another, and also try out their funky builds that they might be a little bit too scared to take into tournaments. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And again, my apologies. Do got to go early today. Got some stuff going on, but really appreciate you guys. Thank you to the mods for helping fend off these Slanesh bots, trying to link their dirtiness in chat. Always a good time for you guys, I'm sure. And special thanks to some folks for donations. From Ben Eifert for the $9.99, Josh Edwards for the $4.99, Dob Plays for the $10, Center Swift for the $2, and then also special thanks to a couple new sponsors as well. From Jacksaw for becoming a member as well. And don't worry, guys, there will be a glorious rematch between Rame and Zyphos, I'm sure. Maybe they'll be encountering one another in the tournaments for the weekend. The Bretonians didn't get routed off. They just decided it was a silly place. It's very true. Monty Python references are always welcome here on stream. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned for a tournament on weekend, Saturday at 9 a.m. Well, I guess that's when it starts for the players, but this Saturday is going to be the next ECL qualifier, so make sure to tune in. It'll probably be starting around noon or 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when the players get to the top 4, so stay tuned for that. And of course, we have another faction war. If you guys want to mark your calendars, on the 16th of February at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are having our second official faction war, which of course you guys enjoyed quite a bit. I think we had almost 3,000 people watching that one. That was pretty crazy. So make sure to tune in for that. It's going to be great. And on that note, thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next couple days. Take care.